Give me 1 second. Let me, you guys, let me get into the studio and, you know, let people come over here because y'all know they don't link. Then we'll get started. Okay, so I put the link out. Hopefully now people can come. Good morning to everybody. Yeah, let me just get my little studio thing set up. Hold on. Y'all, there's a bunch of Dusties in my chat, in my comment section on that video. And they just over here calling for their daddy, Kevin, to come over here. And they're like, oh, I can't wait till my cat daddy sees this. And it's like, nobody cares about what a kitten in heels has to say, except y'all. Nobody over here, though. Nobody over here really cares about what a kitten in heels got going on. Like, it's like, girl, bye. You got to know that ain't nobody really thinking about what a kitten in heels is doing. Like, why would anybody care about what a kitten in heels is doing or saying? And sorry, you guys, I'm trying to slow down the chat too, because y'all know it can get a little hectic. Let me check my little salmon that I'm grilling. Hold on. And then we'll get into it. But yeah, I had a stray piece of salmon in my refrigerator, and I felt like I needed to cook it before it goes bad. So, you know, I was basting it in some butter and avocado oil and seasoning. You know. But listen, I was thinking this morning, sorry, I'm eating a biscuit. Don't judge me, y'all know it's early, and y'all probably hungry too. Because if it's 10 over here, and I'm on the Eastern time zone, so it will be latest in the evening here, then I know that it's early for y'all too. Y'all probably gonna be eating soon too. So don't try to judge over here. Y'all know y'all getting y'all food and y'all eat on too, because it's the morning. And I'm not, look, I'm not holding y'all. I'm not. I'm saying eat your food because it's early. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I feel y'all. But anyway, so I got up this morning and there was a thought that occurred to me. And actually this thought, it's been spinning around in my mind with all of this Brian stuff, because I feel like Brian, number one, should not be now a common name circulating around YouTube, but he is. I feel like if we were really dealing with Black men who are living up to the mentality that they say that they have, the lack of fear, the lack of emotion that they have when it comes to a man of no color, I feel like we wouldn't be seeing the meltdowns all over the place. We just wouldn't at the end of the day. But we do. We do see it every day. And there's this one Black male worshiper who has been obsessed with me on YouTube for at least about 4 years now, since at least 2017. I'm not going to say who that person is because one, the person's fairly irrelevant, and number two, I'm just not going to promote that person on my channel. But the triggerness and the cognitive dissonance is literally so deep that you have people saying that Brian was a staged call, that this is what's being said, is that it was a scripted call. Now, I don't know what they mean by scripted. I can only think about it in terms of scripted reality TV. So basically, it sounds like they're saying Brian didn't really call in and that Brian didn't really feel that way. I just fed it to him, because a scripted something means that you tell the person what to say. So the delusion is so real that you have people who are running around saying that this is scripted, that this isn't really real. You got Black men running around still talking about hair weaves and bang pieces. You got them talking about how treasonous this was. And I'm going to read a few comments here too, because I want you guys to understand the triggeredness here. And then I'm going to tell you, what I woke up thinking about, because to me, this is really interesting. When, I did the call in, if you got smoke for sin, and he called in, nobody knew, nobody really knew that splitting this video apart would, make Black men come unhinged. They were already unhinged, and I told you guys they were already mentally and emotionally unstable, but now they're kind of just proving it. But, oh, what's going on with my, hold on, my microphone. Give me a second, y'all. I had to fix my microphone because okay, so there we go. But, obviously I didn't know that this would have the response, nor that I really care. Again, I don't do my content based on what Black men think or feel or the emotional disposition they may have. But you have people nonetheless running around talking about this is scripted, it can't possibly be real, which really doesn't make any sense, because people of no color, especially the men, they engage in this exact same narrative whenever a Black man becomes the hashtag. So this is what's really interesting, is that they're acting like what Brian said is new. They are acting like what Brian said is not a common mentality shared by people of no color. And they act like this has not been expressed many, many times by many different persons of no color. It just is what it is. Yeah, Nah said, I predicted it would get this response. Well, I mean, I don't think about what Black men are going to think about my content. So I didn't even care enough to think about what their response would be, because I didn't care. I don't do my stuff for them. And I don't know why they're running around here talking about somebody's off code as if I have a code with them. So this is just showing a lot. It's just showing a lot about the pathology of Black men, but it's also showing a lot about the pathology of Black women. And that's why I'm glad Nyla did that live stream where we were going over how Black men were literally worshiping men of no color when it came to Taz. But now all of a sudden they want to complain and say somebody had a man of no color in their space to talk about them, as if they actually have a space. You don't have a space, you're delusional. It's just that simple. Not only do Black men not have a space, and let's really just get into it at this point. Let me get my phone charger really quickly. But not only do Black men not have a space on YouTube, but do y'all know that Black men are literally the only group of men who don't have one piece of land that they own, control, and dominate without the influence of men of no color? Did y'all notice that? The only group of men who literally have no control over any of their people, who don't have, although they have their own continent, it's ran by somebody else. This is literally Black men are the one and only dominated male group on the face of the planet. They are the singular only one. The only one who do not run or control or influence their own country. They're the only ones, or their group of people. Now they can sit up here and they can say whatever they want to say about Asians, but I do know there's North Korea, there's South Korea, there's Japan, there's China. All of those places, they govern and dominate their own people. It just is what it is. They can either take white influence or not, but those countries are in cooperation with the US, with the UK, Britain, whatever. They're in cooperation. They work in partnership. They work in tandem. Black men, on the other hand, are completely dominated. Black men don't run the continent. They don't. They're over there with the influence of the French. They're over there with the influence of Britain. They're over there under the influence of every single person they're even over there under the influence of white Asians in China. They have absolutely nothing, and they run around acting as if we're supposed to ignore the fact that do you know how much black men could be flourishing globally? Yet they're the single group of men who control nothing when it comes to their people, absolutely nothing. And quite frankly, they aren't trying to either. But they're running around here talking about submission, telling people they're off code, crying because of what one man of no color said. All the while, they're talking about how men of no color are threatened by them. They're doing this by talking about how the one group of men who dominate them globally, mind you, they're dominating them globally. Yet we're supposed to believe that these men somehow fear black men. But you don't own your country. You have invaders going in and out, taking resources at will. They can do whatever they want to your women, your children, and you. You have the most resource-rich continent. Literally, you have the most resource-rich continent where you could be dominating globally, really, if you wanted to, just based off the level of resources, but you don't even control the policies and the leaders on your own continent. No, and it's nowhere. Go into the Caribbean, go into the UK, everywhere the black man is dominated. Every single place, you will see him on the bottom of the social totem pole. Because I was watching, and shout out to Tanya TKO. I was watching her video where she was showing a video of this UK Dusty. And let me just try to find it really quickly. Let me try to find it on her page because I want y'all to listen to this delusional UK Dusty. And I want to talk about this as they sit up and whine and cry about Brian. Because like I said, Brian has shown quite a bit. Just that one thing that Brian said has shown quite a bit. But I want to let you guys listen to what this dude is saying. And this is a UK dude. And it blows my mind, the level of delusion, because they always speak outside of the context of reality. Like they're never in reality. They're literally never in reality. And what they want black women to do is they want black women to not be in reality with them. They want you to pretend like they're not the most dominated group of men. They want you to pretend as though they're in a position that they're not in. Now let me find this piece from Tanya's thing, and we're gonna listen to it. Okay, hold on. Because this mentality is just not measuring up to the reality of their circumstances.
He can afford the internet. Yes, he can do those things. But if he is not investing in the very boca, this is something else.
And if this modern day,
okay, hold on.
Water. This is a lot.
Because I want to get to the part.
Yes,
let me share the screen.
It matters. Yes, it matters. Let's continue going forward.
Every day, and men are becoming more and more desperate for this narcissistic psychopath's attention. Not me. And if this modern day woman feels aggrieved by a man, she will stand in his face, shoulders back, chest out, and attempt to have a fight with him as if she's a man. And a lot of the time,
I can't imagine anyone really volunteering to.
Now let me try to go back a little bit so you can hear the beginning of this trash bag in his narrative. Hold on, because there's certain things I want you to hear about what this trash bag is saying. Because the delusion, mind you, he's subjugated in the UK. Okay, he's in the UK. He's still subjugated. Still don't have any control. Still don't have any power. Still don't have any authority to tell anybody anything. But this is his pathology, though. So let's continue. Let's go.
Glint, how do I get you to be able to call in? Because we're going to open up the
And if I could just find his video.
Let me see if I have a way. Finish hearing some of what it is that he was saying, but it just was becoming too much. Let's continue going forward.
Said announcement. What do you really mean? You're a hoe. Don't be offended. That was the hook of the song. There's some hoes in this house. There's some.
Now I don't need to hear him sit up and complain about the WAP song. Like, dude, you have nothing.
I can now download an app, and in half an hour, I can have sex with at least 50 women within a 2-mile radius if I want to.
If
is no longer special. And now we get to the modern day. Desperate, shameless, embarrassing little sin who will do or say anything to get inside the vagina of this.
I'm sorry. Are you all seeing what I'm seeing? I just want to rewind just a little bit. Are you all seeing the plaque? The yellow discoloration on his teeth? Are you all seeing what I'm seeing? I just want to know, because I'm seeing discolored lips, jaundiced colored teeth. I'm not understanding.
Hang on a second, listen, you guys. My camera's been glitchy. How can
people in the UK be able to call? I need to find out. I need somebody to tell me how people in the UK can call, because I need to hear from my sisters over the phone. I need to figure out a way. This is unbelievable. Honestly, it's unbelievable. Let's continue.
Desperate, shameless, embarrassing little sin who will do or say anything to get inside the vagina of this modern-day woman. He will literally sell his assets just to be in her good books. This man will put himself in debt trying to please her every outlandish, entitled behavior. And she knows it. And she'll bet it. And she will manipulate. And she will mold him into the effeminate little boy she desires, as long as her needs are being fulfilled. The roles are being reversed. Men are becoming women, and women are becoming men. Women are killing the very spirit of men.
So if anybody has the link to his actual video, because I don't know what his actual video is. If anybody has the link to his actual video, please email it to me or drop it in the chat box, because again, I don't know who he is. I would like to see the video, but the only time I've seen it was on Tanya's channel. But what you have here is a man who is a part of the most dominated and conquered group of men on the face of the planet, sitting up here talking about the entitlement of Black women. And this is why, like, this is literally why I say what I say about them, because the only people who are entitled are Black men. And really, if we were to be honest, and if we were to be logical, if we were to be rational, we would say that any type, literally any discussion that involves getting certain types of women should not involve Black men, let alone high value, because we have to look at what the data is saying. The data is saying, and we have to look at the definition of manhood. One of the characteristics of being a man is based on your ability to provide for and protect women and children. That is what it is. Now, they can redefine manhood. They can turn it into some kind of dusty shit show as much as they want to. But men are regarded as men based on their ability to provide for and protect women and children and ultimately their communities. Black men can't do that anywhere. Black men can't do that anywhere. Even in the UK, they are under subjugation. Because again, the black man, no matter where he goes on this planet, he is on the bottom. Yet you have them getting on basically the white man's YouTube. The CEO is a woman of no color, whining, crying, and complaining about the opinions of one man of no color as they sit up and foolishly try to convince people that somebody is intimidated by them. Nobody's intimidated by you. Nobody has a reason to be intimidated by you. It's just that simple. They don't have any ability to provide for themselves or women, yet they'll sit up here and say that women are entitled because they want something from a man. You're the only one who really feels like a woman wanting a man to be a man is entitlement, because you don't have anything to provide. And that's the thing that a lot of women don't understand. The reason black men are running around crying, whining, and complaining about the fact that you want them to have some resources is because they don't have any. They don't have any. If they had resources, do you really think they would be crying? No. If black men were in a dominant position in society, if they had ownership over their athleticism, if they weren't at the mercy of another male group in order to get resources, do you think that they would really be complaining and saying that a woman is entitled because she wants the basics? First of all, they'll complain in one breath that women are in the workforce. That's what they'll do, because they're running around doing that too. They're complaining that women are in the workforce. They're complaining that women have degrees. They're complaining that women have jobs. But then when it comes to, okay, so since you're so traditional, trash bag, are you going to provide for a woman in the family? Then they turn around and say she's entitled. Then they say she's entitled. They're the kings of going 50-50 with you. They want you to go 50-50, but they'll shun your degree and your job. You're masculine if you have a degree and a job as a woman, but they need you to go 50-50 with them because they cannot provide for a household on their own. And then they'll call you entitled. Black men are very entitled. They shouldn't have any woman, black, white, Asian, or otherwise, because they don't know how to provide for one. You don't have the resources. You're too conquered. You don't know how to compete. It's just that simple. That's why they want to sit up here and talk about, oh, they want a traditional woman. They want it to go back into the 50s. No, you don't want it to go back into the 50s, because then you really can't compete. You really cannot compete in the 50s. You really, black men, like, do you really believe that black men would survive in competition in the 50s? Ain't no way, black men. You can't even compete in 2021, where you have more access to wealth. There's more laws that can help you to get where you want to go, and you can't even compete now. So what you mean you want to go back to the 50s when the women didn't have a right to get a job or get out of a relationship? Why? So you can have more of a burden of manhood that you can't meet? They're entitled. They know they have no resources. They know they have no wealth for anybody. They know they can't protect themselves. They can't protect you. They can't protect their children, but they think that they should get a woman who's attractive. You shouldn't even, like, honestly, at this point, it's unrealistic for black men to even think they should be able to manage cats and dogs, let alone women and children. You don't know how to compete. You don't know what manhood is. You're dominated globally. You're the only group of men who have no country of their own, despite the fact that you got a whole continent that you control. You don't even have that. Every other group of men do, but then they want to sit up here and speak as if they have what other men have. Like, it's so delusional. You don't have what other men have. You don't. And that's why they don't want you to compare them to other men, because even comparing them verbally, they can't even match up. Michelle D said you emailed me the video. What is your email address so I can look for it? I get a bunch of emails, so sometimes emails get swallowed, and I don't even know, like, you guys, this email name from your YouTube name. So you have to let me know what that is. Hey, Nyla, good morning. But this is so, like, it's so delusional. Right, Brian's foot, right, but I don't know. Let me look at my email, because unless it's titled UK Dusty, like what is the title of the video that you guys sent me? Oh, here's the video. Okay, someone sent it to me. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so now let's listen to this, because this is trash, and this is coming from like, this is why I'm saying black men are so delusional. Like, this is stupidly delusional. You have no right to even sit up and talk about modern women when you can't even measure up to modern men. Like, this is so problematic. Let's play this. Some parts of it I'm going to skip out when he starts reading the lyric, talking the lyrics to the WAP song, because it doesn't even make any sense. But anyway.
Why they always look like milk duds though?
He does look like a milk dud, actually. He really does.
Like, seriously.
But this is so delusional. Like, when you just think about black men's global position, and then they'll get up here and they'll try to speak as if they're actually measuring up to the modern man in society, when they're more on the lines of the modern underclass or bottom class of women. Like, you're not, dude. It's like, what would make you think that you can even open your mouth? You're not even close to being on the level of modern men. Like, this is silly. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I think? And I said this last night on Irene's, since like you got them walking around talking about they've been 400 years a slave. Feminism is stopping them from being men. Black women are stopping them from being men, right? If we need to get something done, or we want to change our social conditioning, we may as well oppress them, okay? Because they're so easily oppressed. They're only going to rebel against weave, right? So these men that are slaves, that are, weak and defeated because of weave, child support payments, and feminism, we should just oppress and use them however we need to. Because they're not going to fight back against anything.
They're not going to fight back. Men in society know that, but yet they're threatened by them. Like, nobody's going to be threatened by the men who are only going to fight weave. They act like everybody else doesn't know they're only going to fight weave. So why would a man be threatened by, like, all of it is just really delusional. But listen to this trash bag. This he's so delusional.
Generation of modern day women are psychopathic, they're masculine, they're narcissistic, they're entitled, and essentially they're spoiled brats. They want everything, and you expect to give nothing else in return but their vagina. Well, I'm not used to it. Your vagina isn't special. You thought by making some whack, well, it's pussy, that you were celebrating your femininity. You weren't. What you were essential. That enough, what we already knew. You're a hoe.
And when
don't be offended.
Look, and then it's like, first of all, the only thing I'm offended by is that I know he's a conquered male. I know that in the UK he's just as conquered as the black man in the US. And that's the one thing that's offensive, is that this is a man who's sitting up here talking about us men. You don't need to put yourself in the same category as other men, because other men aren't as dominated as you are. And it's really offensive to hear a man sit up here and talk about modern women, which really, the reason they're attacking these modern women is because they can't compete with modern men to get these modern women.
Exactly. And you know what else? These modern men, they're absolutely useless. These are men that have not even had a fist fight. You know what I'm saying? These are men that can't do anything physical, have never had a fist fight, don't know how to raise their voice unless it's a high screech octave about, weave or something like that. Like, that's what the modern man has become. A kitten heel wearing, sashaying, purse slinging, what? Like some sort of she woman.
Mm-hmm. And add to that, hold on for a second.
I mean, seriously, it's just crazy, like to just display to the whole world that you lack enough testosterone to fill up the average child. Like, seriously. Like, this is what the modern man is reduced to, making YouTube videos complaining about women while sitting there being last place in society. I don't even know how they're comfortable with this. Like, this has got to be embarrassing for men who don't identify with this, but just globally as a whole, you're sitting here with the whole accent sounding like you were picking slave, and a cotton picking slave in the 1700s.
Yep. But did you guys notice how Black men are the only group of men who go around talking about how masculine women are, and they are like the least masculine in society? I don't think that that's a coincidence at all, and I think that that's something that we should really look at. You're the most feminine, like their position in society is feminine, their mindset is feminine. They talk about hair and makeup and tampons and women's attire. They're doing all of this and then calling the women masculine as if it doesn't highlight their own testosterone deficiency and their own lack of masculinity. They're the only group of men who are sitting up talking about women are masculine.
Right.
And probably because they don't possess their own masculinity. Because if they were masculine and they were just walking around exuding masculinity, I don't think there is really a woman on the face of the planet that they would see as masculine, because she would never be doing what he is doing. She can never exude masculinity like a man. So if Black men are seeing Black women as masculine, it is because they lack masculinity themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And this is the thing about it. When you think about, if you listen to them closely, you will see that their definition of masculinity is having more money. And what else? Because if you think about the stuff that they complain about, this is how you and standing up for yourselves, because they're bothered by feminists. Why? Because feminists stand up for a cause and feminists have agency. So they're bothered by people that are not cowards because they perceive themselves to be cowards. They know that their inaction makes them look cowardly. So because most Black women are not cowardly, we're going to stand up. At least this new generation, we're going to stand up for what we believe in. We're going to assert ourselves. We're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to take care of our children. Those things they perceive as masculine while lacking those things.
Yep. And that's why I'm saying I take note to the fact that the only men that I see, and look, they'll try to make exceptions the rule, and it's like, whatever, okay, you can try to do that all you want to. But at the end of the day, the only men who are by and large going around calling women masculine because they have the ability to go to school and make their own money and they have agency, the only men who are doing that is Black men. And understand is because he cannot compete. Shaming women, which is what he's doing, because a woman can do whatever she wants with her vagina. She can do whatever she wants with it. And she can choose if she wants to be, moderate with it, or just go spread it all over the place. And at the end of the day, it's like, oh, well, there's other men in society. So if you don't want me, another one will. And Black men can't handle that. They can't handle it. No. And you would think if they're sitting there telling you they're the most desired man on the planet, then it wouldn't matter whether a woman has a job or whatever. You're the most desired. So just by you being you, nothing that a woman has should threaten you. But Black men know that they're not the most desired. They know they already know they're not the most desired. They can sit up there and say that, but the most desired men on the planet would not have this pathology that they have. It's inconsistent with their pathology.
What is this? Because I just came in, they were discussing WAP in a problematic way.
That's what he's doing. He's using WAP to talk about how problematic it is with this modern woman. And I guess he's trying to point out her sexual liberation as something that's indicative of her psychopathic entitled mentality that he's saying that they have.
I can't stand the faux deep.
So that's why he's bringing WAP into it.
Oh, he's bringing WAP into it because he can't get none.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some holes in this house.
And it's like, dude, you look silly sitting up there singing the song.
There's some holes.
Like, I don't even want to hear him singing the song.
Holes.
Like, how long? And he literally sits up there and he repeats it over and over.
You know what? That the hook, there's some hoes in his house. That hook has to be over 30 years old, right? Literally, yeah. It's from an old song. So how come some hoes being in the house didn't bother men 30 years ago? What is wrong with these Lil Nas X Black men around here that have you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not advocating for hoes, but look, if hey, it's somewhere you can get in where you fit in, no matter where. You know what I'm saying? But why is it that this generation can't handle hoes in the house? Hoes have always been around. I've never seen men having meltdowns over quote unquote WAP. This is weird. This is really weird.
It is like black men in this, like they expose themselves all day, every day. Like, I mean, I don't even, are other groups of men even talking about WAP still?
No, I mean, if you're not going to talk about it for the hidden meanings behind, you know, the video production and all this kind of stuff, you're not going to go at least deep into, you know, kind of like what I would do with the esoteric meaning of a lot of the stuff that goes behind the scenes or whatever. Like this surface level thinking that and this is why I don't respect a lot of them. I have a real hard time talking to men that lack any sort of intellectuality. Like to see that you're so surface level. You sound like a child complaining about this song or sexuality, period, because you can't get sex.
Exactly, and that's the key point. There is black men can't get the women that they want. They know they can't compete with other men, so they're dealing with it the way that they deal with everything, by going to the women and shaming the women. Positive Sunshine said left the Dusty at a restaurant after he mentioned I made more than him and I should be treating him out. I asked to split the check, paid my bill, and called an Uber. I was so disgusted. Exactly, I would have did the same thing. Like, seriously. Thank you so much to Michelle D for becoming a member. So yeah, this is black men showing that they wait. Did somebody else? No, somebody else had a super chat, but I don't see it. This is black men basically advertising the fact that they can't compete. They don't know how to compete with other men, and the reason they don't know how to compete with other men because they are the females of the society. This is why I said they're fem betas. They just are. TT said, why do they never discuss the fact that Uncle Luke came up with that song? Black men set the tone for the direction of these songs and our community. They complain about the crap that they orchestrated. They do. They're complaining about themselves and projecting it onto black women.
Celebration. Now, Dave Chappelle once said that Bussy was a story. He would have plummeted. Why? Because you flooded the market with your pussy. I can now download an app, and in half an hour, I can have sex with at least 50 women within a 2-mile radius if I want to.
But you wouldn't be sitting up here on this video complaining if on an app you could get 50 different women. No, he couldn't. The average black man, I don't care where he is, cannot get on an app and get 50 women that are interested in them. Do you think that would have this happen?
Saying that this guy does gay porn.
What?
They're saying the guy that we're listening to does gay porn.
Does he?
I've seen it several times in the chat.
Wow. Well, I mean,
that explains a lot.
Oh yeah, somebody said his name is Sarah Garvey. Yeah, I might have to.
I'll look him up while you play the
yeah, because obviously we can't show it on here. But the thing is with this dude though, I mean, if black men could get on an app, and I don't care where they are, there is nowhere where black men reside where they can get on any app and get 50 women who want to have sex with them. They can't. They can't do that. So he can sit there and say that if he wanted to. But considering that's mostly what black men want out of women anyway, because they're shallow and superficial and sexually driven, if that was the case, you wouldn't hear, black men would not be complaining about anything because they would already be getting what they want. If you're going to say the women are entitled and spoiled, but then turn around and say you could get 50 of them if you wanted to, that sounds like a contradiction to me. How are you getting 50 entitled, spoiled, narcissistic, psychopathic women who want you to do something for them that you don't want to do? Like the lies and the inflation of who they actually are is through the roof. No, there isn't. Women don't desire black men enough to where one of them could be able to get on an app, not have any resources, have the attitude that he has, and then be able to get 50 of them who want to jump in the bed with him. Yeah, that sounds like some lies you're telling.
Right.
He's no longer special. And now we get to the modern day. Desperate, shameless, embarrassing little sin who will do or say anything to get inside the vagina of this modern day woman. He will literally sell his assets just to be in her good books. This man will put himself in debt trying to please her every outlandish, entitled behavior.
See, he can get on an app and get 50 women, but she's entitled and her demands are outlandish. No, you couldn't, because you can't meet the demands, and that's why you're sitting up here crying and saying she's entitled. Because entitled to what? Because what, she wants something in return? You maybe could get some that might be willing to you, but you're gonna have to bring your wallet. You're gonna have to pay something, and the problem is he can't meet the needs. He can't accommodate the desires. So then he goes and says, oh, they're entitled and they think they should get everything. But we the most desired man in the world. Like, y'all sound stupid. Like, these dudes sound so ridiculous when they open their mouths.
And she'll it, and she will manipulate him, and she will mold him into the effeminate little boy she desires, as long as her needs are being fulfilled. The roles are being reversed.
Yeah, he can't fulfill the needs.
Men are becoming women. Women are becoming men. Women are killing the very spirit of men every day.
And you see the disempowered weakness. If women can kill the spirit of you every day, then you deserve to be dominated by men. Like
He deserves to be. They deserve to be dominated by men and women. If we're killing their spirit, we might as well go ahead and bury it then. Like, if you're that weak that you are going to admit that you are basically, subjugated by everybody, including we may as well finish oppressing them. Like, seriously, why not?
I mean, if all a male group, in order to stay conquered, needs to say is that women can kill their spirit. Like, really, I can't. If women can do it, you the weakest man on the face of the earth. You're fair game to every other male group, because women can weaken your spirit. Like, the Not Cave Network said, we as Black women have to realize that no matter what they say, we are on top, period. We have magic within us. And as evolution states, the strong will survive. After a while, if we continue to guard our wombs, we will persevere. We need to do selective breeding. It's really just that simple. That's the one thing that we need to do, selective breeding.
More and more desperate for this narcissistic psychopath's attention. Not me. And if this modern day woman feels aggrieved by a man, she will stand in his face, shoulders back, chest out, and attempt to have a fight with him as if she's a man.
And when has that, like, when have you seen any woman do that?
I haven't, but like, doesn't he sound like the average woman can beat him up anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally crying. So, like, even if that would happen, they're making women feel like they're so much less powerful and strong. So, I mean, these men don't present well. They don't present like men that you should respect or regard. And I do believe that you should respect the male strength dynamic, right? Because genetically they are supposed to be stronger. But like, if they don't believe it and they cannot convince you that they are stronger, then what good are they? And what, like, you would kind of think that you could probably challenge them physically. Like, some of them, when they get through crying about weed, I do feel like I be feeling like I could just slap the bitch out of them, because that's the way that they behave.
This dude does look like if O'Shea took a shower and got microdermabrasion on his face. That's exactly what it looks like. Somebody in the chat box said that, but yeah, it's like all they do is advertise their weakness. But does this sound like the pathology of a male group who really believe that they're the most desired among all women on the face of the planet?
No.
It doesn't. This sounds like I can't compete, and because I can't compete with other men, and I know I'm not going to challenge other men, I'm going to engage in shaming language towards the women in hopes that they will accept my dust. And nobody's really doing it. He can go somewhere.
And men, knowing that there is a system that is so heavily skewed towards women.
Well, what system is heavily skewed towards women? Like, what I want to know what they mean. If there's a man in the chat box, I know there's a few trash bag dusties. Some of them are cloud watching. What? Maybe I need to open up the phone line after this, and maybe a black man can call in and tell me, how is the system heavily skewed towards women? Why? Because a baby.
I'm telling you, it's welfare.
Huh?
They believe it's when they talk about the system being swayed against women. First of all, they're in denial because they get welfare too, but they're talking about welfare and child support. That's what they're talking about. Anything that benefits women and children financially is the system that is swayed towards them.
But those programs aren't even for women and children; they're for custodial parents. So,
right.
I mean, they would have a better argument, but then it wouldn't even be an argument if they said, "Oh, because the woman automatically have control of the kid." And it's like, okay, well, it came out of her body. Like multiple people witnesses that when she's in the hospital, they literally witnessed the baby coming out of her body. So the child being hers isn't an argument.
And like that, seriously, like when they're so dumb and delusional. First of all, if you really feel like the system is against you, right, when it comes to having children, you can not have children that you're with women that you're not married to. You can research because that's state specific whether or not the woman is automatically the custodial parent or not, right? So just you can be more responsible since you already know that the system is against you. According to you, why would you continuously put yourselves in these bad positions? Why won't you just get off the plantation and stop bucking everywhere?
Right, because they're not smart. And they want to glitch all over every woman that they meet, and then they want to sit up here and cry about the system.
Right.
When I open the phone lines, I only want men to call in. I'm not going to take calls from ladies. Sorry, ladies, but I'm trying to get the men to tell me how the system is so heavily tilted towards women. I need to understand that.
And back down from this narcissistic little psychopath. And even if he raises his voice up, he will be automatically seen as an aggressor because men obviously are more physically stronger than women. Women are becoming more masculine. Men are becoming feminine. She knows it. And she will cry and she will play victim.
But see, he wants to speak for all men. You're the men who are becoming more feminine. You're the men who are the face of men wearing dresses and skinny jeans and nail polish. Like, what do you mean men are becoming more feminine? No, black men are becoming more feminine. It's real. I feel like it really is just black men. Other groups of men are trying to appear more masculine. That's what they're doing. They're promoting more masculinity among their groups, and black men are promoting femininity. So it's really, it really is only them that are the ones who are becoming more feminine. But he wants to try to normalize this and act like somebody's in this boat with him. And it's like, no, you're in this feminine weave talking about hair pieces, crying over. You're in that boat on your own with a bunch of bundles of food.
And I think that we should support men's right to behave like women. Like if you want to be a woman and you want a femininity coach like Kevin Samuels to teach you how to be more feminine, I think we should support that. I support you guys' rights to be women or behave like them.
So somebody says Sarah Garvey lives with a woman, have children, and does not believe in marriage. Also, he is a well-known atheist. I don't know what any of that has to do with what he's saying here, except the fact that he had a woman and kids. I don't know what the atheism has to do with that, because it really doesn't. The bottom line is, even if he had the woman, he doesn't even feel like a man with the woman that he chose. Choose better. That's what he needs to do. You in a video complaining about becoming more feminine, and you have a woman there? That doesn't even make any sense to me.
Seeks to break the very spirit of men. Fuck them. They know how to shop. They know how to buy wigs. They know how to do their makeup. They know how to boil rice. Do they know how to...
And there's something called a rice cooker, dummy. Nobody has to boil rice anymore. But notice how he talked about shopping, wigs, and makeup. This is what this man talked about. These are the three go-to things that he feels that modern women need to do. Because, of course, there's no conversation that Black men are going to engage in that doesn't involve weave. They have to put weave and makeup and feminine products. They always have to be mentioned in his dialogues. It's a problem.
Children, fuck modern day women. They seem to want chivalry from the 1920s. Well, they act like a spoiled little child. They will tell you, I want a man who's 6'2". I want a man who makes 6 figures. I want a man who's low. I want a man who is X. I want a man who is Y. I want a man to give me the world and wrap it in a bow. It doesn't go like that. I have
no, it doesn't go like that with you, and that's why you're losing. Like, I mean, like, let's be real, because we don't even have to listen to the rest of this. I just kind of wanted you guys to see like some delusion. But this man at the end of the day is listing off characters and requirements that he can't meet. It's just that simple. That's why they want to tell you you're average at best. That's why he thinks it's psychopathic and entitled, because at the end of the day, the women that he wants have requirements that he can't meet. So even if he is with a woman, he's not with the one that he wants, because he's sitting up here, he's whining and crying about her expectations. See, there's a different type of woman who is solely dependent on the man. When a woman is solely dependent on the man, she has a certain pathology. When a woman is liberated financially and otherwise, she has a certain pathology. And they're going to be the polar opposite pathology. The problem that Black men are having is that they don't have anything to offer. And these modern day women, because they can get their own money, they can pay their own bills, car note on they don't really need them. They don't have to depend on a man. Now they're sitting up here whining and crying. That's what Black men is having a hard time with. They're having a hard time competing with other men, all the while saying that they're the most desired man on the planet and that every other male group is intimidated by them.
And that's why they're doing the reverse psychology on women and telling them that we are supposed to be competing for men, like as if we're in charge of getting married. Like, if you know what I'm saying, like, and that's not, why would you allow these men to put you in the masculine role anyway? Men are supposed to be out gathering a family, hunting and all this stuff. You're not supposed to be out here on the prowl for men. They will find you because they're supposed to be looking for you if they're healthy and heterosexual. But now, because they don't want to compete with the white man, they want to compete with in any group, they want you to compete though. That's why they're saying that they're the prize. And think about, what is a prize? A prize is something that you have to work hard to get, right? Mm-hmm. You go to the fair and you got to shoot the dart in the balloon. You got to do this. You got to jump in water. They want you to do the work to get to them, to get what? A stupid prize? Like, seriously. Men are not supposed to be walking around telling I'm the prize.
What can the average Black man like really do for any woman? Like, really, what, honestly? And that's what I'm going to open up the phone lines for also, because I want Black men to tell me this as they run around talking about Miss Average at best and that, oh, y'all are unrealistic and entitled. Since you want to talk so much about the modern woman, and look, he can say modern woman, but we know that Black man is talking about Black women. It just is what it is. Other groups of women don't really care about what Black men have to say. But I want to know, what do these men have to offer a woman? Because even
Black men online asking for half on the bills.
But even if she is competing, I mean, and he's a prize means that you get something special. What is she getting?
Mm-hmm.
What prize comes with Black men? Are you a prize just because you're Black and male, or are you a prize because you actually have something to offer? You win something when you win a prize, and that something is going to benefit you in some way, give you some kind of enrichment, whether it's temporary or long term. A prize actually adds something of value to your existence. What do Black men have to offer? What are these women getting when they're getting you? And see, I think that's what's missing from the conversation. And of course, Black men are not going to have that part of the conversation, because the whole problem that they're having is that they don't want to have to bring nothing to the table. And that's the whole reason they're complaining about Brian. See, because Brian said he's traditional because he made his home traditional. Black men can't just go out and create a traditional 1950 situation in 2021 because they lack the resources to do so. It just is what it is. You don't got it like that. You don't. And because you don't got it like that, and because you're not going to go out and actually compete with other men to get it like that, you want to troll women. And at this point, it is trolling. It's trolling because they don't have anything to offer themselves. Nothing. There is nothing that Black men can offer any woman. And I'm not even saying Black. Take Black women completely out of the equation. They don't have anything to offer. They don't have anything to offer women of no color. They don't have anything to offer Asian women. Nothing. And that's why they only get the throwbacks who are desperate, broke, busted, and disgusted, wanting some attention. So they scurry over to Black men, knowing that Black men are the single group of men who, because they need so much validation from women who are not Black, all you have to do is have some white skin. That's all. You don't have to be cute. They're going to see you as cute anyway. And they'll scrape they'll dumpster dive or go to the prison rolls just to find it if they have to. And Nyla, have you seen that new season of Love After Lockup and that desperate, pathetic dude?
I was just catching up on that last night. That is so pathetic. So pathetic. I'm like, wow, he should be embarrassed. Like, that's what I'm saying. They spend all this time talking about everything else, but they need to be discussing their own pathology and why they're out there showing the world that they're stupid and desperate. Mm-hmm. Like that was so disgusting. Can you imagine if that was the opposite? If that was 2 Black women that he had been with that were in prison, that he wasted his money on? Can you imagine? They would do 50 streams. It would be trending all over Black YouTube. But because, it was a snow bunny, it's different because they don't mind rescuing snow bunnies from situations and communities that have rejected them at that.
Right. They have in Brian's daughter. Like they want Brian's daughter. They want, like, they don't want to hear what Brian got to say, and that may be true. But you definitely want the what comes after Brian nuts, though. You definitely want that, though.
Mm-hmm. That's as close as they can get to Brian.
Like, it's such a problem. Let me see if I open these phone lines, are Black men going to call in and do anything other than cry? And while we wait for that, let me read some of these comments about how they're crying all in the comment section. Mind you, it's been 10 days already. 10 days and Black men are still crying all over YouTube about what one man said, although this man is intimidated by them. That's what they want you to believe. This man is intimidated. Oh, I didn't even drop the number. This man is intimidated by them, but let me cry all over the place about Brian. Like this dude right here who said this interview is so dangerous for Black people. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself for co-signing this nonsense. So a man calling up on the phone is dangerous for Black people, but these are the people who are intimidated by Black men.
Well, if his call is so dangerous, how come the fight is on Weave and Cynthia then?
Right.
The fight isn't against him. If his phone call is that dangerous, shouldn't you be actively on the prowl trying to eliminate the Bryans from society? Why is your focus on Cynthia G, children, and Weave? Shouldn't you be fighting the good fight against the Bryans? Because if that man's phone call threatens Black people that much, you need to be trying to eliminate him.
But how is a phone call from a man who's intimidated by you? How that doesn't even make any sense. How is that dangerous? The man is intimidated by you. So how can his opinion be anything to you when he's intimidated by you?
Like, what in the broken book psychology is that?
Yeah, what this man thinks, this dude, his interview, what he said is so dangerous, but he's intimidated by me. Like, really, it doesn't even, like, y'all need to stop saying that. You're embarrassing everybody when you say that somebody is intimidated by you. Nobody is. You got dudes in here posting whole Bible verses. Then
why are they posting Bible verses? Like, what, the Bible doesn't even care about you. Like, see, what has the Bible helped you? It didn't help you get off the plantation. It didn't help you through Jim Crow. It ain't helped you against the fight. It ain't even helped you against the war on weed. Like, see, why are they always using the Bible against Black women?
yeah. This dude that came on here saying this is counterproductive as F. No, what's counterproductive is for y'all to sit up and cry on YouTube for 10 days, going into 11 days, about what a man that y'all say is intimidated by y'all said. Then you shouldn't care anything. Y'all should have unmuted yourself on the line. And since this man is naturally intimidated by you, you should have just gave him that work. It's that simple. Nobody's scared of you. You've only shown weakness. You only talk about hair and makeup and weave and tampons and panty liners. Nobody's intimidated by that. I don't even know why Black men are continuing to say that. Like, stop.
I mean, they're basically, they're basically like Master Brian would have been on the plantation, right? Using the Bible to try to scare women. Like, if you really think about that, they really do want to be white supremacists. Like, if they don't stop.
They do, but you know, there's too many Black women who are willing to defend them. Because there was a chick who was literally since 2017, she been sitting up here trolling and obsessed with me, sitting up there saying that she think that this is a scripted call. Now, I don't know nobody on YouTube who's doing scripted calls. I just don't see where, like, what do you need to do a scripted call on YouTube for?
Wow.
Like, Black men are not that important where somebody needs to come do a fake scripted call just for what? Because if you're doing a scripted call, then you have to predict what the outcome of that is going to be. Ain't nobody sitting up thinking about y'all like that. Like, these women are even silly who sit up here and put out this foolishness, because there was another chick on here saying that she really does think other men are intimidated by Black men, although they won't admit to it. Just logically, there's just no reason for them to be intimidated. And if you can't think of any reason why they would be intimidated, then why are you guys saying that? I don't understand. I just don't. Like, it's just like, you can't tell me why, but you're saying that he's intimidated. Like,
can some of these intimidating bucks call in and tell us about this? Because I really want to hear it.
Yeah, I need to hear it, because you got this trash bag sitting here saying, so instead of this man calling in to Tariq's show to confront Tariq, he called a woman to whine about the Black community. Yeah, all right. So a white man who have a negative attitude towards Black men, but not towards Black women. And see, that's their problem. Their problem is that this man complimented Black women too much. Because, well, he shouldn't even, like, it shouldn't even matter. If the call was out of line, it's out of line. You don't need to bring up the fact that you feel like he had an attitude towards Black men, but not Black women. They're just jealous. They're jealous angry birds. Then he says, yeah, he's on that Westchester County bullshit. Furthermore, a successful businessman doesn't worry about the so-called EOs in the Black community. If you're living in proximity to them, why wouldn't they be? Like, why wouldn't they be? And then he says, I don't buy this bullshit. This dude comes on here, writes a paragraph and say, one, we don't care what a white man thinks. So y'all been crying for going on 11 days, but I'm supposed to believe you don't care what this man thinks, really. 11
They
days.
absolutely care. 11
Right.
days of crying.
He wrote a paragraph on here. He rewrote a paragraph because he's like, if he thinks a Black man can be a high value man, if you got the money, you got the money. The man didn't mention nothing about money. He said Black men need to do too much work on themselves in order to be high value. Nobody mentioned money. Like, what are you talking about? Did you hear him mention money, Nyla, at all?
No, he actually, again, he was saying the same thing that we say. Like, your value comes from more than just your money. If your community is shambles and you will not do anything about it but complain, if, you know, the members of your community don't feel safe, if you're not making an impact, you have no value. You can't, how, like, I'm insulted, to be honest, that they even think that they can be high value. You know what I'm saying? How can you be high value if nobody even values your opinion? If your opinion is not valuable, if the impact that you make, okay, think about it. Your impact in the community has no value, right? No, like, no one is asking for your opinion. No one is asking for your leadership. No one valuable where? How? Yes, we have individuals that may be valuable. Like, we have individuals that are valued to individual families or individual communities or whatever. But as a collective, where is the value? It's not there.
It's not
there.
They don't have a problem with the fact that when in any of these big decisions that affect society happens, Black men are not part of that conversation. Black men's input isn't even solicited. Like, even with COVID, did you guys see anybody consulting? Yeah, exactly. They don't want to call in. Did y'all see anybody consulting any Black man on that situation? Anyone? Like, with all of the press conferences or every news thing that I've seen, I didn't see any Black man being consulted. Now,
I mean, like I said, we can tell globally. Like, where's your political representation? Where's your governmental representation? Where is your global representation in comparison to your numbers? It's just not there. So, valuable to whom?
Yeah. Black men weren't consulted when it comes to the stimulus check and how it should be distributed. So it's like, there's every indication in society says that you just don't matter. And largely you're okay with that. TT said the fact that they think that what the scripted call means that they are refusing to accept what white folks think about them. Black men have not given anyone a reason to respect them or be intimidated by them. Exactly. What they don't realize is that fear, it has to be taught. Yeah. Fear has to be taught, and it has to be
demonstrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to do something to give somebody a reason to fear you. Mm-hmm. And Black men have done nothing but submit to white men, and that in submission is not going to make anybody fear you. It's just that simple. They think if you tell them to verbally speak up for themselves, that you're asking them to get into World War II type altercation, and it's not. Like, really? So verbally defending yourself is getting you killed. This is how scary they are, and they promote this all over the place. How much they don't want to move, they can't do this, they can't do that. If they do this, you can't even protect your children. You make excuses as to why you can't even protect your children or the elderly in your community, and you think somebody fear you? No, you're not gonna fight back. You ain't about to do nothing back. That dude who and that's why I said now Beckisha and them, they're starting to see how it is when you deal with the burden of the Black men, because now their children are becoming hashtags. Mm-hmm. That woman of no color who was with that Black man who, look, again, is a part of the 70% obesity rate in Black men. He sat up there and didn't even know how to protect his own son.
See, their hatred and their cowardice, especially like if we just think about what we've seen them display, because if we keep it on YouTube, right? They're sitting here mad and upset and having meltdowns over what happened on YouTube, over a phone call on YouTube. Let's go back to 2019, 2018, when I first got here, and they were having these conversations about if they should even protect the community. What were the big arguments? They don't want to defend the community. They don't think the community should be protected. We've seen there's multiple streams where they said burn down the community. They were saying that little girls should not be protected from grown men. Like, everything about them, I mean, their stupidity didn't date well for them, because to sit up there and take issue with what was said about your value and your lack of participation in your own communities and your lack of impact, you've actually demonstrated that in my presence for the last 3 years. They've demonstrated all of this. So like it's their fault, and it's on public display. And when they want to take one Black woman that's doing something that is not good and say that we're all doing it, they're saying, well, if we say something like this is not something that's good to display for the world, what do they say? The whole world sees it. White people see it. These people see it. Okay, white people see you. The world sees you, and the world is spoken. Like, and the thing is, if you go into certain sites when they're talking about political stuff, when they're talking about communities, they are saying this about them, and not even from a racist perspective, just from a human perspective. How do you expect to be respected amongst people of value and, high moral standing, doing what's immoral? It is unnatural to leave your communities uncared for. It is unnatural. And this is why I say they are cowards, and they need to stop scapegoating Black women with your sexual choices. Because I don't care if they got on a white collar, a blue collar, or a white tee. The probability of them being irresponsible is the same. So to sit up here and say, well, if Black women stop having babies with this guy, if Black women stop, that is all because they don't want to stand up to that group of men. If they thought that Pookie and Ray Ray was ruining the community because Keisha keep having kids with them, and the Black women are choosing wrong, guess what they would do? They would eliminate those men from the community. But they are afraid of them, just like they are afraid of the Bryans. And they're cowards. These men are cowards.
Yeah, to them, the solution to dealing with every problem that comes up in the community is to go to the women. And then they'll talk so much about the desire to lead. No, because you've already said that you're not leader. The leader pathology would not sit by and look at their community become something that they don't like. That's not leader pathology. Leader pathology says if you see a bunch of women running amok, you step up to the plate and you turn chaos into organization. That is what a leader would do. So even the ones sitting up there saying they want to lead, you don't have what it takes to lead, or else you would already be leading. And that's one of the pieces that they don't get. Plank Tom said they thumped their chest and threatened violence against Black women, but have no aggression towards white men. They fight weave, edges, and nails, but not the men that oppress them. And they think that other men don't see this. Mm-hmm. It's like if Brian's telling you, he knows that your femininity. He knows that all you want to spout out is feminine rhetoric and act like a woman. He sees that. Why do y'all think that nobody sees that? I don't understand that.
Yeah, and that's why this person that keeps saying, this. Listen, let me tell you something. Says, what are you Black women going to do to compete with other groups of women that are stashing up the best of your men, or also the Bryans of the world? Most of you will stay single or forced to settle for a Taz. Let's talk about that, though. First of all, we don't have to compete with other women. That's dead, right? Women do not have to compete with other women for men. That's not our role. Secondly, settling for a Taz. Let me tell you what that looks like. Someone that was there for the birth of their children, someone that raised their children, someone whose children have their name, someone whose children are now in college, right? Someone who provides for his family, somebody who protects his family, right? Somebody who protects other women on the spot, on the streets, right? That's what that, and defends the community, worked in the community. That's what that looks like. So if that's a settlement, I'll take that over a white collar dusty with some kitten heels on with that old child support, like Kevin Samuels. Okay, I would take that. I'm on my first, my second vacation this year of probably 5 or 6. I will settle for that. So you're not gonna shame me.
My question is, if these other races of women are getting the best of Black men, why are they complaining about getting the same worst Black men that Black women get? Why?
Right.
Why are the best of Black men delivering the same outcome as the worst of Black men? Because it kind of sounds like it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there a woman of no color on here right now making a post on Facebook talking about my soulmate, probably white, but I'm over here chasing chocolate covered lies? Sounds like she got the best. It sounds like she got the same Black man that Black women get.
Exactly. Why are they becoming the fastest group of single mothers? Why is it that we are going to be I'm going to set up the time with her sin, but I have a Canadian white Hispanic woman who is over there complaining about Black men, like her name is Keisha from Crenshaw, honey. She's got the same issues because she has the same Black man. Nobody is around here saying, oh my God, let me find me a good black, no, I'm sorry, let me find a black man because they're good. You're not known to be good providers. That's why you guys like to assume that other black men, just like that man that just said something, you guys assume that other black men aren't taking care of the responsibilities because you know the majority of you guys ain't doing stuff. When women think of black men, they think about sex. They don't think about provisions. They don't think about protection. They don't think about, raising their kids. You know what I'm saying? They don't think that, oh, your kids may have your last name. Oh, he'll be present for their birth. Oh, he'll make sure that my kids get through college. That's not what the world thinks about when they think of black men. That's why it's a foreign concept when you talk about the black men that actually have that. It's foreign because the only thing you're known for is going to jail, leaving women without provisions, making children, and being cowards. That's the only thing that you are known for. That's it.
And see, they've been running around for a long time talking about these women were getting good black men. And I remember when there was a time when you would have black women sit up and say women of no color are taking all the good black men until they start complaining about getting the same black man that you've been getting. And now look, and notice how nobody says that anymore. Nobody says it. Nobody says that women of no color and other races of women are taking all the good black men anymore. I haven't heard that on any talk show or any show at all. I don't hear it anymore. You guys in the chat box, if you've heard black women when they talk about interracial dating, if you're still hearing them say that women of no color are getting all the good black men, put a 1 in the chat box. If you have not heard that in a long time, put a 2 in the chat box because I noticed I haven't heard that in a while. I mean, I'm 36.
Yeah, ain't nobody saying that.
Yeah, nobody's saying that. Nobody is saying that anymore. And that's because women of no color, we can see. Now we're able to visually see that they're getting the same black man that black women get. The veil's been lifted, trash bag dusties. It's been lifted. So you can run around and you can say all of that if you want to. We see it. Mm-hmm. When I lived in Seattle, all I saw was women of no color running single mothers in the welfare office, getting child support, doing the same things that black women got to do because you're walking your dereliction from the black community to the white community to the Asian community to the Hispanic community.
Right. Stop lying. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Like that, like you guys are literally the face of degeneracy. You're the face of failures. You're the face of just not being. Everybody knows no one can depend on you guys to do nothing but degenerate stuff. Nothing but that.
Like keep saying that. Why are they so dedicated to keep saying that these women are getting the best of black men? No, nobody's getting the best of black men. Like what even is the best of black men? What does that look like? Nobody knows. Like nobody knows what that looks like, but these dudes, they go around saying it. They just saying stuff.
And why aren't they calling in to defend themselves?
Because they're weak and weird. The phone lines are open, but they ain't calling in. And if I had not told the women to call in, then there would be calls. But because I said only black men call in and explain this, okay, there's one call on the line. So I'm going to get the one call off the line from.
There's one other participant in the conference.
Anonymous, you on the line? You're not about to play on my phone call. I got a feeling you want to.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to talk about black men being conquered.
Sure.
Yeah, in America, at least I'm talking about because I'm Adolf, happily Adolf. We all live under the same laws as the white man, the black man. So I don't see how you can say we're conquered when we all live under the same law. So that right there defeats your whole argument about us being conquered.
So wait, stop. Because you said that defeats my argument. So white people having rulership over white people, that's the same as them having rulership over black men?
No, you don't understand the laws of colorblind.
No, the laws are who makes the laws?
It depends. Certain cities
No,
like to make the laws, but most cities
no,
people.
no. The cities.
No.
Hold on. Cities make their laws to support the federal laws, which are the laws of the country. Every single state has to do that. There is no state law that can trump federal law. So you don't even need to mention state law. We can go straight to federal law because it covers the entire country. Who writes federal laws?
Okay, Cynthia G, you don't know law.
I'm going to hang up on you. I study criminal justice. I'm gonna look. You see how remedial this dude is? He's going to sit up here and try to convince me that state law trumps federal law, and we know that's not the case. We know that it's not. But he wants to scream on the phone. Like, I mean, where's Carib so we can get the actual attorney to tell us that state law doesn't trump federal law anywhere? So why would we be talking about state law when all states have to adhere to federal law, i.e. the fact that because marijuana has not been federally legal, they'll still tell you that even though it's legal in your state, you can still have to face consequences from federal law. And this genius wants to sit up here and act like I don't know.
This is why the Kangs reject education and reject the fact that we are more educated than them. This is why, because they're going to get into conversations with people that actually have educations and sound stupid every time.
Right. He wants to say, so his argument is that because white people are adhering to laws made by other white people, then therefore black men are not subjugated. Like this is the stupidity that they spew as logic. Like that doesn't even make any sense.
Okay, if we give them that as a half argument. Okay, so everybody is subjected to the law. All right. Why is it that your mindset is still the same as it was on the plantation, where you lie and have children that you're not responsible for, where you don't take care of your own self, where you do not defend yourself, where you sit there and watch other men dominate you and do whatever they want to do in your communities? Let's talk about that thing, because that should be an easy answer. Like, why aren't you guys doing that? Why are you guys not cleaning up your neighborhoods?
This dude literally just had a federal mask mandate, meaning that all of the states have to abide by it. They do not have a choice. We just saw that. We literally just saw that every single across the country now, you got to wear masks, whether the state wants to or not. So he's literally living in the fact that state law cannot trump federal law, and he's still trying to argue it. He's still trying to argue it.
Just dumb. Like, y'all are embarrassing as hell.
Like, literally, when I went and saw on doors, they didn't say state mask mandate. They said federal mask mandate says that you need to wear a mask when you walk into this building. Do you know how many conservative states didn't want that law enacted? But it's federal, so they don't have a choice, because you don't get to your state laws don't get to trump federal laws. But a genius just said on the phone, because he wants to say he's not dominated and conquered. Okay, cool. If you're not dominated and conquered, then why do your community look the way that it does?
Mm-hmm.
It's like either way, no matter what way you pitch it, the problem is you. Something's going on with you. It doesn't make you more of a man because you come up here and say, oh, okay, well, white men, they're under the same rule of white people too. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. They always say that. Like, why do y'all keep saying that?
It's because they're cowards. It's like, so they just defaced the George Floyd statue, right? Mm-hmm. Because of the Derek Chauvin verdict. So let me tell you, because this is what they say. They don't want to address that because they say, well, George Floyd was a pookie, right? But let's think about this inside the mind of a dusty, derelict nigger. Derek Chauvin and society as a whole just sees black men as black men. They don't separate them from Pookie and Ray Ray. Black men do, so that they don't have to stand up when white society does something to the quote unquote Pookie and Ray Ray. But what they don't understand is because white society only sees them as a black man, that they could suffer the same fate. But they don't want to feel obligated to fight even for themselves, and they separate from themselves so they can have an excuse. Well, I'm not fighting for that black man because he's not like me. No, he's like you because he's black like you, which is why he's dead. That's why that happened. But see, they don't want to fight the system, and they don't want to fight Pookie and Ray Ray either. These are cowards. These men are cowards. They don't want to be accountable for anything. That's why he would rather say, well, we're just all under the law, instead of recognizing that the law does not fall equally on all black people, especially black men. Like in one breath, we know that they are the most targeted by police officers when they're driving and all of this kind of stuff. Their sentencing is different and all this kind of stuff. But you want to sit up here and say, well, we're all subjugated under the same law. It's not falling equally, but you're not going to do anything about it. You're do something about this weed.
They turned Derek Jackson into a Pookie when I said, you know, Derek Jackson showed that whether it's Pookie or Ray Ray, you get the same black man. And then immediately they turned Derek Jackson into a Pookie. They know this man don't nobody's Pookie criteria.
Yeah, I said that he was an educated lame, and they said there's no way he's an educated lame. Is he not educated? Is he not, you know what I'm saying? He is what they think is the educated lame, and that's how they fly under the umbrella. And they've actually got black women in on it to a certain degree. That's why Dusty has to be understood that it is a mentality and it is certain actions and not necessarily a job title. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they've done. These men have made Dusty into derelict, and then as soon as someone displays publicly their derelict behavior, they just throw them into the Dusty box so that they never have to be responsible. There was a judge that I did content on a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, who murdered his black wife. And when I was talking about how this is what, you know, educated lames will do as well, because we weren't talking about high value men then, they just said he was a Dusty. So you put an entire judge saying that he was a Dusty just so you don't have to be responsible for him, so that they can say, oh, he's not one of us. No, they're all one of you. And they all have the same circumstances. If you really think about it, just like the video that Taz showed, you would never, a high value man would never go into a community and call out another man for messing with a teenage girl like those quote unquote Pookies did. A high value man would never do that, right? Just think about all of these men who are always saying that they're better, the Fantasias and all this kind of stuff. They would never go and defend and protect a young black girl that they did not know against men, or even, you know, administer any sort of street justice, right? But what they will do is make single mothers. They'll put their hands on, they'll do every single thing else that black men do, everything else, but try to separate themselves. And when they feel like the other one is bad, oh, well, he's a thug. No, you're all black men. You're all black men.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because really, if they thought that there was a difference, they wouldn't be mad about what Brian said. They would have just said, oh, well, he's talking about Pookie and Ray Ray.
Or honest. Because like there were like maybe 2 or 3 black men other than Taz that said, okay, he was right about that. Yeah, we've been saying that too. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Like, you guys, like, tell the truth about what they're doing.
But they already know that nobody sees them as an individual, because what Brian was talking about is Pookie-ish behavior. But he didn't say either Pookie and Ray Rays. He said black men. And that is their problem. They know that nobody is separating them. You are the same. You wouldn't be crying and whining for 11 days. You would just say, oh, well, no, he's talking about Pookie and Ray Ray. He ain't talking about black men. We the ones y'all over here skipping over. He talking about the bad men that y'all choose. But no, you know that everybody see you the same. It's just that simple. Film Crit said, black men want to use the fact that everyone is under the same law as an excuse not to build. Musk, Bezos, Gates, Buffett, Cuban, etc. either build under current laws or write new laws to accommodate them. Exactly. They sure do. They sure do. They were, and the thing of it is if what he was saying was the case, do you think Byron Allen would have had an issue?
Right.
Byron Allen, if the law was colorblind, what was Byron Allen even going to court for then? But this is and this is what I'm saying. They want to, when you talk about how they're dominated, they want to put up an argument to say that they're not. But then when you ask them what's up with your community, why do they look the way that they do? Then they start telling you how they're dominated.
Right. At this point, these Negroes are starting to sound like a Mary J. Blige song. Seriously, 11 days out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, y'all around here sounding like some sort of sad, sappy, broken-hearted love song. Like, get over it or do something about it.
Like they are to this day, they on here whining. It's just the thing of it is, I just want them to stop lying. Stop lying. Stop sitting up there saying anybody's intimidated by you. Stop acting like anybody see you as a threat. Stop trying to say you're the most desirable man on the face of the planet. You're not. The truth of the reality of it is you can't compete with this modern woman's ability to get a job, ability to divorce you, ability to provide for herself. You simply cannot compete. And this is the problem. Everywhere that you go, Black men are bottom caste in society, and they're fine with it. How are you fine with the fact that you don't have any authority or control anywhere? Whole continent, 90% Black people, ton of Black men, you don't even run that. There is nowhere you can go where Black men got control of their people or themselves. Nowhere. Except the Andaman Islands. That North Sentinel Island is the only place where Black men exist, where they have liberation and freedom over their people. That is the only place. And it is because they are willing to fight for what they have. They have a certain reputation that you ain't just coming over there. And it doesn't matter who you are, they will bring it to you. They are not scared. That is why that is the only place on the face of the earth where Black men are not being dominated somewhere. Everywhere else, you're on the bottom. You have no control, you have no power, you have no position in society. You don't even have an opinion. But you're running around talking about how depraved and psychopathic this modern woman is. It's like all you're doing is promoting your weakness. Thank you once again for telling us that you have no control over women. You can't even lead women. Therefore, you're not sufficient to lead men. How long are you going to sit here and advertise your weakness to the world? Crying on the internet over a man's opinion. The man didn't even touch you and you crying. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Brian was a voice on the phone and y'all have cried for 11 days. On, mind you, multiple social media platforms. It ain't just on YouTube. Apparently, I've heard people saying, people have told me they were talking about it on Facebook, Clubhouse, Twitter, and TikTok. Y'all done cried on every single social media site over a man's opinion, his words, and to the degree, and they're so delusional, Nyla, they're saying it was scripted.
Wow. But oh my God. Anything but be accountable and responsible. Why aren't they taking that smoke to Brian, to the Bryans of the world? Why aren't they, you know what I'm saying? Why aren't they doing that? It's just so crazy. Like, they want to be in this protected class that they're not criticized in or something. We got to act like we don't see it. We got to act like we don't see y'all little dusty kids with no daddy.
Right. And
then like that.
This dude is talking about narcissistic psychopaths. Let's talk about how narcissistic and psychopathic one must have to be to think that they are above criticism. You're above criticism. Nobody can talk negatively about you. Who do you think that you are? Because you certainly can't stop them. Like, Black men can't stop nobody from on them. Like, well, what are you going to do about, like, Brian, no, you ain't got no smoke over there. It's been 11 days. You still have not checked Brian for what he said about you.
Girl. Talking about some 11 days I cried online about a white man that I do not know. Like, seriously.
No, they read that is exact, and they go cry about us making this video, Nyla. You know, they 6, 10, 8-hour panels crying. Brian stood up on her panel and he talked shit about us. 11 days, like it doesn't make any sense. Cry babies.
Wow.
It's like, that's not masculine. Like, what you mean? I wish I would. And then they keep saying, oh, if a black man had a woman of no color on the panel to talk negatively about black women, you mean again? Like, what you mean if he had it? When don't you have it? But nobody would care about talking about it. You think I'm going to sit up and cry 11 days for what some Beckisha who got the same black man that black women get has to say? Y'all been having them on your panels.
11 whole days. Just like, it's just crazy. I'm so embarrassed for them.
Like, seriously, they're reminding me of the end of Shanti's song when she says, I cried. And crying is what y'all doing. You're crying all over the place and nobody wants to hear it. You're like one of those annoying, sad songs that a person gets stuck in their head that they really wish that they could cut out. That's what you are. You're crying all over the place.
Girl.
Like, what the hell? Like, y'all get it. I'm serious. I'm thinking, I didn't know y'all was gonna do this much crying. Like, seriously, I did not know they were gonna cry this hard. Like, I didn't think about what their reaction would be because I didn't really care. But even if I thought about it, I didn't think y'all would cry for 12 days over what one white man that y'all said is intimidated by y'all.
Man.
You're saying that they're scared of them, Nyla, but they sitting up here crying for going on 2 weeks about what a man said.
Somebody said the R&B Dusty challenge. Y'all don't bother with that. I see the little mammy twerking in the chat. She can't help it. Y'all, we've all been there when we didn't know no better, right? I was on here spouting mammy-isms at one point too. I didn't know no better. Y'all, let her just keep on watching these men and she will come over to the right side. Okay, she'll figure it out.
Oh yeah,
there's some positive energy.
Black men will show her.
Yeah, they're gonna show her.
There ain't a woman on the face of this planet that black men won't teach about who they really are. There ain't one. So I got confidence. Now, she may be slow to it. She may resist it. That cognitive dissonance is going to tear her up for a little while first. But she'll eventually get there because eventually that dust, she gonna get tired of that dust clogging up her sinuses. She gonna get tired of seeing trash bags collecting around her home. So she can sit up there and look, defend them as much as you want to. You can pop on a handstand defending them. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she can go ahead. I don't care. I mean, I don't think I was really hardcore at it, but I was black male worshiping at one point, and black men taught me why I shouldn't.
You know what? Can I read your super chat, please? This person says, and thank you for it. There, I said it. She says, Sinji or he, whatever, please divest. You espouse white supremacist talking points and divested black women quote you in their "We hate black women" streams. B1, stop the cap. It is B1 to divest from dust. Okay. All right. Let me tell you something. Dust is threatening us as black women. Black women have to divest from dust.
I wasn't there. I said it to call in.
Right.
But you probably won't. You probably won't. And that's just the reality of what it is, because y'all can never call in, but y'all always got so much to say. I find that real fascinating, but whatever. Mm-hmm. She ain't about to call in. Look, you can say white supremacist talking points as much as you want to. I don't care. Like, why would you think that your super chat is going to mean anything to? Thanks for super chatting and supporting. But what you say don't mean anything to me. You can try the shaming tactics and say, oh, well, you being like white supremacists. No, the man that you're caping for, those are the white supremacists of the Black community. So you can try your little, oh, go ahead and divest already. I will when I get ready to. And I'm still going to come on here and talk about Black male pathology, and you're not going to stop it. The truth needs to be put out there. I'm not afraid of Black men. I'm not afraid of the little, the attack dogs, the female masculine attack dogs that they send. That doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to stop saying what I'm saying. You can super chat it. You can cash app it. You can troll. You can whine. You can cry. You can do whatever you want to. It's not going to stop anything I'm doing over here. Understand that.
Yeah. Absolutely true. And it was like Verbal Assassin just said, they will make you turn on them. Y'all know I came in here with my cape on. I didn't mean to have it, but it's programmed in us to cape and to make excuses and all of this kind of stuff. But, you know, like I said, I got my dusty wake up call just by looking at these men. Like, I had to realize, and I will never be able to apologize enough. I did not realize that every person did not have my experiences. And when I got through sitting through these conversations and reading some of these statistics and listening, I realized, like, I was over here being a whole super mammy with a capital S on my cape. Okay, so, like, seriously, they'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. They will figure it out.
We've been there, so that's why we don't even gotta roast them, because, you know, we've been there. We were just there. Like, we just got out of the home of Black male worshiping. We left the altar where it was.
Yeah, all this, they are
we know what it is.
The man is after them. They got it hard. Like, and I'm telling you, when you get around, like, when you're around men who, like, have, you know, had it hard at one point, but they're not making excuses and they're still doing what educated lames are saying that they can't do. Like, seriously, like, stop, like, all that mammyism, honey. Look, people be asking me how I stay looking young. Is because I don't worry about nothing. Okay. But if y'all keep on worrying about these dusties and trying to cover from them, your hair is going to turn white and you're going to wrinkle like their preferences do.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it, because there was a time, and you know, Irene will tell you right up, there are certain things that she does not want to believe about Black men. She will say it, but she's telling you, I just don't want to believe these things. They may be true, but I don't want to believe them. That's how a lot of Black women are. Rather than telling the truth like Irene, they send silly super chats like that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. What I don't like is what the Dusties do is try to shame me and Irene because we married Black. But yeah, we married Black, but we didn't marry Dust. So there, and but the thing is, we know what the collective is, because the collective tells us, what do Black men say about other Black men? Listen to what they say. Listen to their streams. They will tell you about other Black men while telling you not to generalize. They do the same thing. They do the same thing. They will tell you how dusty they are. Listen to these men.
Yeah, they will. The way, because even if it's the way they profile other Black men. Can we talk really quickly? I got to get off of here in maybe like 15 minutes. But can we talk about how Black men profile Black men just like white supremacists? Can we talk about how Black men are really the ones who got the white supremacist narrative, especially the way they dehumanize Black women and refer to them like as animals, like German shepherds?
Yeah. Absolutely. I heard a Black man talking about lynching you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like they do, and they say it about Black men. They say, like, think about it, like Black men who do anything positive, they find a way to sound like a white man over him. They do.
Yeah.
They're just as I mean, to me, Black men have become bigger white supremacists sometimes than their white counterparts.
They are, but I feel like these are, because women like that, they will follow the Tariqs, they will follow, whoever, they will follow Kevin Samuels, and they'll buy into this dumb, silly notion that somehow they're to blame for all the ills in the community. Like, I literally saw that one chick sit there and listen to and agree with this man when he said, oh, well, who's raising them? And she didn't even once say, but they have a daddy. Now, she knows that she had to lay up with a whole entire man to get these kids, but she didn't once mention the fact that their daddy should have been there. And then he was literally able to convince her that somehow she's complaining about the men that she's raising rather than no, you're complaining about the men that black man refused to raise. That black man
they're trying to call in.
Huh?
Someone's trying to call in. They said that the host is not available.
Okay, hold on. Let me open it and then I'll be available.
And Miss Beyond Meek, yes. Someone asked if Kwame Brown was a Dusty. He absolutely. Miss Beyond Meek says he's one of the first graduating class of Dusties. Any man that is telling black women that they need to use when there's an issue in the community, like the situation with the Asian boy who did what he did to who harmed that black child.
All participants are muted and they can
reached for black women. He told black women they need to pool their resources. He told black women what they need to do. He told black women, you need to do this, you need to. He didn't corral the men. And then he went and got a dusty white mammy and put on his panel to put over black people. Yeah, he's a dusty. He absolutely is a dusty.
480, you're on the line.
Hey, Ben. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to say that this past weekend, I saw the video that young man had put up, I guess, addressing you in his car. And so I had commented, and I basically just said, pretty much, instead of having the balls to address black women, why can't you talk to the white man, aka Brian, who you had the discussion with? And then I got sort of getting a whole bunch of likes on the comment, and then one that's funny in particular, and I kind of want to get your feedback on this because he was sort of bringing up these points. He started talking about, well, why is Sin having a white guy, a racist white guy, I guess, disrespect black men, blah, 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 blah. So I was pretty much just readdressing, well, why isn't that you guys aren't addressing the white man? Sin didn't do the talking, it was the white man that did the talking. He started to divert, talking about, well, and this is what I don't understand. He starts talking about, his name is Sean, and he starts talking about, well, can you explain to me why black women can't compete with white women? I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And we were telling him, we were like, okay, well, first off, the system is built by white men, and it's built for them to succeed, as well as for their women to succeed. So black women, if anything, if they are succeeding, have to work twice as hard to get to that point, because this isn't a system that's built for them. If black men would build infrastructure, then of course it would be easier for black women to be able to have higher, because we were talking about like how white women have higher pay, they get paid 15% more than black women and all that other stuff. I was saying, like, well, that's because their men have built it that way. And he wasn't getting it. He then starts to reference, who did he reference? He was just like white woman crazy. He started referencing who are these white men that are like millionaires? You basically referenced some white women that are millionaires. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, are you not understanding? The reason they're at that level is because of the system that they live in. And he wasn't getting it. What are your, I guess I just want to pick your brain as far as, what are your thoughts? First of all, have you heard that? Because this is a new thing I'm hearing now. Why aren't black women competing with white women?
Well, I mean, I've heard some trash bags say that, and they say it because, again, they don't know how to not reference women when it comes to you questioning them about a man. So I've heard some of them say that. Like, I've also heard some of them say, oh, well, if that's the case, then black women are dominated by white women. So they'll say these silly things, but at the end of the day, compete for what? Well, what is it that black women should be competing for with white women?
That's what I was trying to understand. Exactly.
Like competing for a man, because if he
said Ariana Huffington, he mentioned, there are plenty of white women who have built their own companies from the ground up with their own bare hands. Ariana Huffington, I don't know who that is. Debbie Fields, Sarah Blake.
Yeah, there's a lot of black women who have done that too. So I mean, didn't Oprah build her stuff from her with her own talent from the ground up? I mean, really, like seriously, a number, like there's a few black women who have done that. I don't understand what his point is though. Like, because in a system that's created by men of no color, he's not going to make it where another man's group of women can exceed his own women. So, but these are remedial dudes. Bottom line is, the answer to that question is because he's dominated. That's why. Black women are under the subjugation of white men and white women because black men are dominated. It's that simple. Because bottom line of it is, women are in the position of their man in society. So if he's dominated, she's dominated. Conversation over.
Honestly, I really hope that you can bring in another, but this is I feel like this is really shaking up the community, and I hope you can get another Brian or another man of no color to come on and do some speaking talking points, because I like how this is all playing out. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I definitely am too. But thank you so much for calling. I'm going to grab the next caller.
Thank you.
Let me lock this room so that I can get the calls that are here, because I don't want other people trying to flood the line before I get off of here. 925, you're on the line.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, my name is Cynthia. I'm calling from Charlotte. This is my first one calling in. I hope all is well. So you were talking about, I don't even want to say his name. But Kevin Samuels, he had a show that I watched where he called in. It was 3 white women and 3 white men, and he was talking, and he was saying that men are the conquerors. That's why we live in a man's world. Got that. Then he was saying that men are not concerned with unfairness or fairness, about things being fair. For me, having supported people like Bussy and other so-called conscious black men who have YouTube channels that are specifically talking about the way, the unfair treatment that is imposed on black people from the police, the government, laws that are passed, policies and things like this. Why spend time talking about this? I feel like Kevin Samuels and people who like Serena Seed, and I'm very disappointed in Serena Seed. I've supported his movies and seen his documentaries and things like that. For him to come out and say that he, quote unquote, fucked with Kevin Samuels, that's a problem for me. Because I feel like Kevin Samuels has put a bounty on black women's heads, as if we don't have enough things to deal with. We have to deal with black men abusing us, abusing our children. We have to deal with white men doing the same thing, Asian men doing it, or everybody else shits on black women. And so I just have a serious problem with any black man who calls himself conscious, saying that you deal with Kevin Samuels in any way, because he is divisive. He doesn't like black women. I don't believe he dates black women. I don't believe he dates women, period. But people are clamoring to this idiot. And this is the thing, in my opinion, that got us sidetracked same time with the civil rights movement. I've often heard Serena Seed and other people, other black people, 53 and all different other kinds of channels, that black women, the problem with the civil rights movement was that we divested from it and got into the feminist movement.
Right. The thing is, they're gonna rewrite history as much as they want to support their victim narrative. That's just what they're gonna do. But at the end of the day, I think black women need to stop listening to those type men. And if they want to continue to, then they will continue to be misled. And that's really as simple as it is. But let me get this next caller, because I want to get off. I'm about to get off here in a minute.
Okay, thank you for taking my call.
No problem. Thank you so much. Okay, so 505, you're on the line.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Hi.
It's a little unrelated, but I wanted to know if you've seen the black, basically, generally black male reaction to the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight coming up. Excuse me.
No, why?
They just cannot accept the fact that a white boxer beat a black one, and there's just literally like 100 YouTube channels just dedicated to saying it's impossible, he cheated. They've gone through a litany of excuses. You really have to kind of see it for yourself.
Mhm.
But they just cannot accept the fact that their guy lost the boxing match.
Right. And why do you think that is? Why do you think they can't take it?
I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm calling for, is see some of your insight on it. I hope you've seen a little bit of it so you can see what I'm talking about.
No, I haven't.
But
I absolutely haven't seen it.
okay, well, I guess I can't get your take on it then, but it's worth looking into. It's pretty shocking, the allegations they're making against the other boxer, just so that they can convince themselves that their guy didn't lose.
So let me ask you this question. What do you think about black men having that type of reaction, all the while saying that you, because I would assume you're a white man, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Well, are you biracial?
Yeah, I'm a little bit Hispanic, but I look white. Most of my family's white. I don't live in a white area though.
Yeah, Hispanic isn't a race though. So yeah, you're right. So what do you think about that, about them having, that reaction to that Tyson Fury fight, but all the while claiming that white men are intimidated by them?
Well, it's funny you say that, because they had the press conference, and so Deontay Wilder is the black fighter. He got destroyed in their rematch there. The first fight was a draw, second one was a rematch. And so now they're hyping up the third fight, and Deontay Wilder, he just put his headphones on and let the white fighter just talk all kinds of trash to him throughout the whole press conference. He was pretending he was listening to some rap in his headphones, wouldn't say a word to this guy even after he was the one talking the most last time. And now all his supporters are saying, guess what I think about it? The first thing I think is it's kind of divisive, because his whole team is black, but to excuse the loss, he's basically trash talking his trainers and his past sparring partners, saying that this is the level of craziness. And like, oh, Tyson Fury paid, this Olympian boxer who's been training Deontay Wilder for years to cheat him. Oh, he poisoned his water. Oh, he put weights in his gloves. Like the excuses, they're still going and going. And the fight's coming up in about a month. And when he loses, again, if he does, which everyone thinks he's going to, I just wonder what the new excuses are going to be.
So, but when they make those excuses, because that to me, it's like, okay, so you're basically trying to rewrite a narrative, because they can't deal with the cognitive dissonance of a white man being able to beat a black man, all the while in claiming that you guys are scared of them. And I know you mentioned, that he had put on some headphones and pretended he didn't see this obvious white man trash talking him. Basically, based on what you guys see out of black men, would that cause you to be afraid of them or not? Like, are you guys afraid of them?
No, absolutely not. Well, if it was like physically, maybe in a group setting, like if it was just me and there's a group of them, yeah. But, as far as like, just intellectually, no, I think that is a bit of a coping mechanism.
Are you afraid of them physically, like on a one-on-one basis?
Depends how big. But it really just depends. I really kind of have to size up the person, see how big they are, see if they were walking kind of I could, like, I don't know. I'll give them at least that you know you don't know anything about anyone on the street, you know.
Right.
As far as a physical confrontation.
Yeah, because I mean, I know they go around with that narrative of that you guys are scared of them, but and then when I say that, you know, you're not scared of them because you don't have a reason to, then they get triggered. So do you see any of the stuff that they talk about on YouTube? I would assume because you were on that video was on social media where they were doing that. Do you see how they act on YouTube and like Facebook and things of that sort?
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I call it because you know I'm actually a Deontay Wilder fan. You know, I like both the fighters, but it's pretty obvious what happened, and I'll try to argue. You know, they're saying, you know, they're basically talking trash about his trainer, who was an Olympian, saying that he poisoned his fighter. You know, and you try to argue with them about that, and they just are like, no, that's what happened because there's no way Deontay could have lost that fight without the white man cheating.
Right. They'll say that you need to cheat in order to get one of them. So, I mean, you know, the thing is though, when you guys see black men going around, because obviously this isn't something that you guys do. I mean, I don't see you guys going around doing this, but why is it that you guys, like, if there's issues in your community, why don't you guys blame the women for it? Like, do you guys believe if something goes wrong in your community that it's the woman's fault?
Well, even if it is, it's your fault still because, you know, I mean, you're being a woman if you're blaming the woman, and it really doesn't matter what the situation is. You start saying it, and, you know, you're basically like, I'm not meaning this sounds disrespectful, but you're stooping to that feminine level, you know, and, you know, I'm not making a generalization here, but people that were raised right, you know, like your father puts it in you that, you know, you do that or he'll beat you up basically, you know, like you just have to do that as a man. You represent his last name.
Exactly. So, I mean,
so it doesn't matter what the woman does, you know, because if it falls on you, you know, whether you're related to her or you're married to her or you're dating her, you know, I'm not sure if I'm articulating it well, but, you know, when it comes to the point where you actually like have an issue to discuss, you can't just put it on someone else because it involves you. And, you know, just for being a man is you can't put that responsibility off on someone, especially to a woman.
You're right. I mean, so when you guys look at that, when you guys look at the condition of the community, like with all of the violence and the single mothers and the out of wedlock rape, because these are common things that they go around talking about too. But when you guys hear them talking about that, do you think that's a reflection on the women or the men?
No. I think it's a reflection on the male culture, but no, I don't think it's a reflection on the women.
Yeah, so basically you feel like black men, if you look at the community and it's in shambles, the issue, you wouldn't, as another male group, you wouldn't perceive the issue to be black women, you would see it as black men basically, because they're in the community.
Yeah, well, to me, they're supposed to lead the community, so it rests entirely on their shoulders.
Absolutely. And so black men are essentially starting to do the same thing in your community that they do with ours, with the women. Like, I don't know, like I looked at some stats out there and there's like a very high single mother rate when black men be with white women, but they'll act like you guys can't see it. And they'll act like you guys don't see the women that they get. And then they'll sit there and say that white men are basically jealous of them being with white women. So when you see a black man with a white woman, do you get jealous?
Well, if she's hot, yeah, but you know, if she's a dime, I'll get jealous of anyone, but that's usually not the case. You know, it's usually, you know, a woman that's a lot older than them, bigger than them. So usually no, but you know, if someone's walking around with a dime piece, of course I'm gonna look.
Well, I mean, a dime piece is an attractive one, but what type of white women have you seen black men with?
To be honest, I live very near the Mexican border, so I don't see a lot of white women or black men. There is a city close to me that is more urban, but I'm not there often enough to really make the kind of judgment. Like, my critique is more just coming from a cultural standpoint. It's basically the narrative on social media.
Yeah, because I see it too. Like, they'll be, and I'll tell them, I'll be like, look, these men are not worried about you. It's like they act like you guys are sitting up biting your nails because a black man is with a white woman. And it's like, I keep telling them you guys don't care, but they keep saying that you're jealous and you're mad that they're taking your women. So it's just like, and do you see other white men being mad about black men being with white women?
No. I don't, honestly, the only people I know that do get upset about that, like the few black people I know, like, they're the only ones that actually get upset about that type of thing.
Yeah, but basically white men really don't care at the end of the day. Like, you guys you don't care.
No. And to be fair, like I said, I do live in a bit of a melting pot, so I couldn't, make a declarative statement on that just because of the demographics where I am. But I said it really is more from like a cultural critique.
Okay. So let me ask you something else on that same line, because and I hate it when my brain is freezing. Oh yeah, so white women obviously date black men or whatever. That, as we've seen it all over the place. But what you guys don't seem to do is you don't get on social media and you don't like publicly shame white women. Like, you don't get on there and talk about white women's hair or whatever makeup they wear. How come you guys don't do that?
To be fair, there is a class of white women that date black men that do get shamed. I'm sure you've heard the term mud shark.
Yeah.
When, white chick is just acting ratchet as hell, like they do get all the scorn. But no, I think white people generally are pretty open to that. Like, again, like, kind of living where I am, like, it's easier to see people as individual because it's kind of hard to tell what race people are a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, if you find someone attractive, like, that's just how it is. Even if you're gay or whatever, like, you like what you like, But what was the last part of that, so I can come full circle on that?
Why don't you guys get on public platforms and demean how your women look?
Them, yeah.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if me personally, if someone is in a relationship and they're happy with them, I'm happy for them. So, that doesn't matter who they're with. Like, it's different if you can tell someone's bad for them, but yeah, if they're with someone and they're good for each other, then, I'm generally happy for them. And, I'm not speaking for all white people, but I assume that's, why people aren't getting online and going like, oh, Becky's with Tyrone or whatever.
Well, if Becky becomes a single mother by Tyrone, do you guys like get online and do you guys like tell her she should have chose better and call her a single mom and encourage other men to not be stepdads? Like, do you guys generally do that?
The encouraging other men to not be stepdads, I think there is some of that. As far as shaming her when she's had the kids, I think that does go on, but it's not, made like, that community is embarrassed of it too. Like, they're going to shame her personally within her own circles, but to blast it on social media, you're blasting yourself too.
Well, that's the thing that they don't get, is that you guys seem to, like, you recognize that you're an extension of your woman, essentially, because you said if you blast her, then you're blasting you, which I agree. But the fact that you automatically said that makes me know that it's something in you, that's an extension. Why do you think black men do the exact opposite, where they seem to try to separate themselves from black women? and try to act as if when they're demeaning Black women, they're not doing it to themselves. Why do you think they do that?
I think, there's like a popular cultural narrative that's kind of pushing that. It seems to be, the culture that is promoted to them encourages that. And, it kind of uplifts these, rappers or athletes or people that they have maybe a 1 in 10 million chance of being, and, that's kind of how they act. And I think it's kind of pushed a little bit in popular culture. Mm-hmm. That's directed specifically at them. I mean, if you watch, say like BNC News, Mark Hill, or you watch anything on BET, the Young Turks, any of their Black hosts, I mean, it's a constant, just rapid fire assault of a victimhood mentality, and it doesn't stop.
Right. No, it does. It definitely is. And that's what I'm saying. You have these men in our community, and you guys just obviously that's not your part of it, because you could say whatever you wanted to say about, and I'm pretty sure you guys do have your own thoughts about, even if a white woman is having children with a Black man and he's not a favorable Black man or whatever, you guys, I'm sure, have your opinion about that. But as a culture and in large groups, you guys haven't made it mainstream to go online and demean and lambast your women. And even if you guys did, like, I'm sure it would be done differently. Like, you guys wouldn't, because what happens over here is that when you hear Black men, it's talks of weave and makeup and hair and feminine products and comparing themselves to the women in the community. But you literally just said that representation, if you were to do that, that's the same way you would be representing yourself. And I think that's interesting. What do you guys think about the fact that there's they'll sit up and talk about the high single mother rate over here, but then they're doing it basically with the women in your community too, which granted, most of the time it's not a woman that you guys will be attracted to. I think we both agree. But what do you think about that? The fact that they're kind of bringing that single mother making over into you guys' community?
I don't think of it like that, I think, once a woman has, she's officially a single mother, it's kind of a waste of time to think about the guy, it's basically there's a kid and that's what's important, and it's not going to help the kid to, blast the mom or the dad, you got to just make it as stable as environment as possible. And, when you think about it, you're doing yourself a favor that way, you're going to have to deal with a lot less just ratchetness,
So you basically feel like it's more about the kid, regardless to what the mom did with whatever adult she did it with.
At that point, yeah. When you know she's pregnant or she's had the kid, those criticisms need to stay behind closed doors, and kind of need to be, more of just kind of known as a reminder of not to do that than something to taunt someone about, and just remind them of the mistake they made, because the wheels are already in motion for the new life that's happening.
You want to know what I want to ask you about, because I have a couple of things, and it's because it's really good to talk to somebody outside of the community to see what they think on certain issues that we go through. Because I always wonder, I wonder what other men think about this when I don't see the behavior. And so I was just looking at a video where there was a man sitting in the video complaining that women are masculine, stating that, they just see all these women who are masculine and the women are too masculine and entitled and things of that. Do you guys have an issue with masculine women in your community where you just feel like there's too many masculine women to the degree that you guys can't lead?
No, not at all. But, I'm not speaking for other people, but for me personally, no, I think that's good. Like, if you're actually in a relationship and she's got her own thing going, that's more money for both of you to go just have fun with,
Right.
It's, I do know guys like that, but it's always seems to me like it's, just wrought out of some sort of insecurity that you need to have the control,
Yeah. Right, because these dudes will say, I noticed one of the things that they say deems these women to be masculine is like her degree or if she has a job. Like a lot of them will say, well, men don't really care about your degree or job and you cannot have one or whatever. Do you guys think it's masculine and a problem and like a threat to you if your woman has a degree or if she has a job?
No, and like I don't associate the term masculine with that at all. Like when I, if someone was to say to me like she's masculine, I would like, picture like a woman that looks like a pro, like a bodybuilder or something, So like I completely associate that term with just physical, and like kind of going back to what we said earlier about the victim complex, like. Like a lot of these channels, like you see like black men literally crying on TV, and like Mark Lamont Hill cries on TV, Bakari Sellers cries on TV, Ben Jones has done it a bunch of times, Michael Eric Dyson. So like I think the definition of masculinity has just been totally warped. In a narrative that they're promoting towards one culture. And, it kind of goes into talking about toxic masculinity and trying to demonize it and stuff. So it seems to me like they have a warped definition of the term and they're just using it as a pejorative to anything that kind of makes them insecure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because I didn't think that we would be hearing that either. But in the context of it, I noticed that I listened to them, they're relating a woman's job and her education. And I was just thinking they're like, I mean, I don't know how, like they'll tell you, and I don't know if you've heard this high value man concept, which I think high value men are different culturally too. But they'll say, oh, high value men don't want a woman with an education or a degree because she's masculine or whatever. And you having that is somehow masculine. And it just sounds like you guys think that masculine is more of a woman looking like a linebacker than having a job or a degree.
That's how I associate the word masculine, yeah. But like I said, I think like the term is like just currently just being further and further twisted. Yeah. And I don't think it means the same thing to a lot of people anymore.
Do you guys like, what do you guys think about this notion of submission? Because I notice when I hear you guys, like I watched, and this show gave me this idea, and I think it resonates with reality because my sisters, I have sisters who have been in relationships with white men and they said the same thing. But I was watching a dating show and every man came on there to describe what they wanted out of a woman. And what I noticed that with black men, there was a heavy emphasis on submission. Like they were basically telling you they want a submissive woman, like they were describing what they want her to look like. And what I noticed is that literally none of the white men listed that they wanted submission out of a woman, not one of them. But it was a very heavy emphasis with black men, submission. So why don't you guys promote this notion of submission the way that they do? Because it seems like they have the huge emphasis on it, and you guys, meaning white men, just don't feel the need to run around demanding submission from women.
Yeah, I couldn't comment on that because I don't personally know enough, I guess, non-white people to make that judgment. But I do know white guys that are into that, and I'll say like, out of all the different races of guys that I know like that, they all have the same thing in common, which is just a big insecurity complex. They're all short. They all drive a huge truck, and like they take on a lot more responsibility than men can handle, so they can act like they have a million things going on that they're in charge of. Like it's just a similar archetype for any guy I've ever met that wants, submission.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, okay, well, because even if you don't like hang around these men, like on a regular basis, it still seems like, absent of even knowing any black men, I haven't seen you guys promote that as like a dating trait, that you want a submissive woman. And so,
well, I don't know why that would attract a woman. You know, like if you're trying to date someone, the first thing you say is like, submit to me. Like, you know, like I'm not into like spitting game, you know, but I would think that, you know, isn't a good way to get the dating started.
sorry, I'm sorry, but that was hilarious the way you said that. As soon as you meet him, you're like, submit to me. No, seriously, that's usually what it is. And I'm thinking, why are you asking people who don't even know you to submit to you? It's like, what the hell?
I know, but like, what if you get to know her through dating and you're like, okay, I want to get rid of her, but she's like, has this God complex about me that I feed into her, and now I can't shake her.
Right. What now? She's so submissive. Like, really? Oh my God, sorry. That's like hilarious to me though. Think of the side of the visual of that, because there is. And now it's like there's so many. I'm just tired of hearing about submission. And I just be asking my sisters, I'd be like, when you guys meet white men, do they come to you? Like, do they put this heavy emphasis on submission? And all of them said they literally, like, none of them really puts this emphasis on submission and outwardly talks about how they just need women to submit to them. So I was just trying to figure out why it is that you guys don't do that, especially publicly say that women won't let you lead, women won't submit to you. Like, why is it that you guys don't do those things? Because they'll probably, I'm being told that other men do this, but I've literally never seen you guys get on any platform and say that you can't lead because women won't let you and because women won't submit to you. So why do you guys not publicly advertise the fact that women won't let you lead or submit to you?
Well, you know, to go back to what you said about like a high value man, like if you genuinely are that, then you don't need to like lay these ground rules for a relationship. Like, I need this amount of respect, I need this amount of respect, submission, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you already have, you know, the assets and the resources, you got all the juice, like it's known, you know, and you pointing out those things like, hey, you better keep seeing me in this light. Like every time you do that, it's like a point against it, you know? So to me, and I think to, you know, to a lot of the people that don't, we see it as just counter-effective, you know, like it's weak to say, I'm strong, look at me, I'm strong, I really am, notice it. It's counterproductive.
So basically you guys would see it as an extreme weakness. You wouldn't advertise that you need women to submit to you because you feel like it would make you look weak.
Well, don't you think so? I mean, you're a woman. Like, what do you think if that's, you know, how a man wants to start a relationship before he's ever gotten to know you? Like, he wants those ground rules.
You know, I would think it's weakness. I would think I'm dealing with a weirdo. Like, why are we talking about submission? But that's what they'll do. Like the same dudes who will be sitting up talking about Deontay Wilder and the dude who beat him will be the same ones telling women they need to submit to them and like just demanding, going on their profiles talking about they want a woman to submit to them. And it's like, okay, you just look like a weirdo at the end of the day.
Yeah, you really got to check out some of these, you know, Deontay Wilder videos of the people defending him and making excuses for him. Like, it's a phenomenon in itself.
Well, I know why they do that. I know exactly why they do that. But what do you think about the fact that they'll go on here and think that a white man has to cheat in order to beat them and talking about how intimidated you guys? I want to know how you think of it because I already know why they're doing it. I know how they think and why they're doing that.
I think it's silly because, first of all, Deontay Wilder is a badass. He's a world champion. He lost one fight, you know, and they can't accept that he's still an amazing fighter, you know. And so now they're putting so much extra pressure on this guy to where he's pretending, you know, he's got headphones on at a conference where he was in his face talking shit. And so, and now that they've, you know, gotten so far behind the excuse, they've hyped it for the next fight. Like, oh yeah, Fury's going to be under a microscope for this next fight. No way he's going to be able to cheat. You know, we're going to be watching. And so, you know, if the same thing happens in a month when they fight again, you know, I hope that they don't just start saying Deontay Wilder's a bum, because he is an amazing fighter, you know. But yeah, to me, I think it's kind of disrespectful to him. He's left a one freaking guy, you know. But yeah, so to me, it's just more like the more noticeable thing to me is just that, you know, like they can't accept that he's still an amazing fighter. They can't accept that this other guy's an amazing fighter as well, you know. They're going to have a rubber match. Maybe Deontay is going to win. But just the, you know, the inability to accept it and them smearing, you know, his Olympian trainer as a cheater, I think it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna check it out because somebody in the chat box, which I'm familiar with Gervonta Davis and Deontay Wilder. I'm familiar with both of them. I think I've talked about their dusty antics of both of them. So I'm familiar with who they are, but you know, and the chat box told me that I need to go check out the fight. But the thing of it is I can go check out the comments, but I already know why black men are saying this. It is because black men.
Oh, you got dudes in the chat saying he cheated?
Yeah, there were some people in there saying that he cheated though, but it's like I already know why. Black men have run around with this notion that y'all are scared of them. That if you guys see a black man, apparently you're shaking in your boots. And that y'all are just intimidated by white men, by black men, basically. Black men want to believe this notion that white men are scared of them. I don't know why. And so if they see this fight where there's a white man who physically was able to beat a black man on a one-on-one situation, then their psyche can't take it because white men are scared of them. That is what they think. They've been told that. But do you guys, have black men even done anything to make you guys fear them?
Not to sound racist, but, you know, just like statistic-wise, I would be more nervous, you know, like seeing a group of them 2 a.m. in an alley or something. But no, I mean, as far as like, you know, anything societal or, you know, making like economic strides, like I don't think that's threatening. And honestly, if they were doing those things, I think it would be good.
Right. I mean, well, and it always seems that, of course, with the statistics, obviously, because it is slanted, the crime data is slanted. If you look at percentages, it's slanted against black men. So even for me, if I walk through a community based on the statistics, if I'm going by that, then yeah, the biggest threat is going to be a black man. But that wouldn't mean that if I'm looking at a black man in any day situation, I'm just scared of them.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, but they think they're just on a normal basis.
If I just walk by a guy on the street, I would, you know, I'm sure there's people listening to this that think I sound racist. But I mean, if I was just walking, you know, I would just see him as just another guy, you know. Unless he's like really flamboyant looking, walking all weird or whatever. But no, I would just see them as just any other person, not something innately threatening.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody would either. But that's why they're on that post doing that, because for their mindset, and I don't know what it does for them. I really don't know what pleasure they get out of running around convincing themselves that you guys are threatened by them. But there hasn't been a white man that I asked that said, yes, we are threatened by black men, especially economically, because usually, you know, these are things that other men compete with. They compete with societal power, economics, social status, or whatever. But you're like the second dude that I've talked to on here who said the automatic go-to was economically, because obviously in this society, economics means something. What do you think that black men would need to do to even become an economic threat to white men?
I think they need to stop the pro-black stuff, and I think they need to stop seeing themselves as part of a collective, because, you know, like they do have some points where they are a little bit disadvantaged, you know, like governmentally. And I think part of that is, you know, black people tend to vote very similarly, you know, like, I mean, like 95% of them voted for Obama or something like that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, same thing with this past election and, you know, local elections and stuff. And that's just an easy way to get taken advantage of, because when politicians know that they just have to tell a certain group of people something, then you get all of them. You don't have to spend any political capital on that after you get them. You have to actually save your political capital for people with nuance in their communities. You know, you gotta be like, okay, you know, Hispanics, we're gonna do this for you, but we're gonna do this for the whites, and we know there's some intersection in that, so we're gonna do this and this. And then, you know, once they're elected, they have to be held to it, you know. But if you have a group of people that consistently does the same thing in the upper 90% category, and no matter how much you betray them as far as what you offered, they keep coming back, there's no reason to ever do that. You know, they really need to be a little more well, I don't know what they need to do. I assume they need to be more individualistic and stop being so predictable, and just stop seeing themselves as a black person in America and just a person in America. Yeah, I know it's not perfect, but it's as good as it's going to get, unless you maybe get let into Canada, you know? So that's what I think. I think they're too predictable, which makes people very easy to manipulate and take advantage of.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, the one thing I disagree is about them thinking individually. The societies operate on a collective thought. So I think that they do need to have some collective unification in terms of what they actually want. But I do agree with the other part of what you said, the predictability, because I mean, that goes to being a threat to a certain male group. Because for you guys, if black men are predictable, then they couldn't be a threat, because you already know what they're going to do. You already know what they're going to do, and they are predictable, and they do give up, you know, and that's just for black people in general. They'll give out their vote or whatever. They'll give out anything without getting anything in return. And I do agree with that one. But in terms of them thinking individually, I think they do that too much. I think they do it too much in terms of being able to be a group that will become a threat versus one individual man that would become a threat. I think they need to think more collectively, just not be predictable, like you said. But I don't.
Well, I think, you know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, and it's okay. I was gonna say I don't really fall into bipartisan anyway. But go ahead and say what you were gonna say. But I do get what you're saying. If you're going to do that, then yeah, don't be predictable and think differently about voting. I definitely agree with that. Although I'm not really big on the voting process anyway. But go ahead and what you were gonna say.
Well, I think, you know, I do agree. You have a point about, you know, you do want to collectivize, like, for group interests, but, you know, like, I think it's, you know, maybe look at strategies where you're taking your collective, you know, like the ones that contribute the most, and put it in another collective that, you know, like, become part of that, so that they can't be like, oh, well, we already got these 95% of them, you know, like, bring 85% or whatever to this thing that you mostly agree with and be part of that. And so now you're only, you know, now you're not just a majority of it, you know, like now, like, there's actually some nuance, and they can't just be like, well, these are all this group of people thinks the same thing, wants the same thing, but we already got them. You know, be part, like, I would say expand it, you know, so it's harder to just crumble the house of cards.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with you. But I actually have to get off of here. The chat box is asking about questions to ask you, but I really don't have time. I should have been off of here. But thank you so much for calling in. I definitely appreciate you giving your perspective. I'm going to go check out some comment sections from, you know, that fight. But at the end of the day, this is some cognitive dissonance that black men are experiencing. They don't think that, you know, they just don't think that it's possible for a white man to beat a black man fairly, because y'all are intimidated and scared of them at the end of the day. And so you were able to clear that up. So thank you so much. You can say whatever else you feel the need to say before we disconnect.
No, I think pretty much said most of it. But yeah, thanks for taking the call. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, yeah, I can take any more calls. So I mean, but it's good to know, to hear from somebody else again that know they are not scared of Black men and know they don't see you as a threat economically or really otherwise. Go ahead and say, were you going to say something, Nyla?
Yeah, the grandkids are playing with the game, so I was trying to turn it down. But I wanted to say, I think I know why they view that fight as that. When you haven't collectively made an impact and done anything, they ride off of the victories of individuals. So for them, Deontay Wilder, or whoever had the fight, represented all of I'm on a stream. That he represented all of them. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't do anything collective. They ride off of the successes of individuals. Just like how they did with like whoever's, got money, Robert Smith or whoever it is, they ride off of individual successes instead of collectivizing and being successful at anything. And the whole submission thing, I'm just realizing the reason why they have such a strong emphasis on submission is because for them, submission means be quiet and don't talk about what you actually see and get from me. Just lie about it and take it.
Nyla, let me tell you, when this dude said, and when they meet him, they say, hi, you submit to me. I nearly lost it.
I was dying in the background, girl. I was laughing my ass off.
Because you know how weirdo that really is with performance and pushing and submission. It's like, y'all look like weirdos. Like, really?
But they do. But isn't that what we say though? Like, how do you walk up to somebody? Yo, my name is Tyrone. You submitting or no? Because that's what it sounds like.
That nearly killed me though. Like, that seriously did. That actually threw me off. Like, I couldn't even formulate my mind for questions after that, because that nearly threw me off. Because it's like, you're a weirdo. Like, why are you going around publicly pushing submission? But the thing is, this is the thing. Because some people, I want some people to understand this. Some people are saying I'm trying to trigger Black men. I'm not trying to trigger Black men. I'm trying to show Black women that different men think differently. And while they're running around blaming you for the condition of the Black community, other men don't agree with that. When they look at the community, they see a problem with Black men. That's why he said, even if it was true with the women not letting you leave, it would still be the man's fault. And this is coming from a man just outside of your community. That's the only thing. And so this isn't about Black men. Black men have this narcissistic mentality where they think that everything is about them. This is not about you. This is about showing Black women that other groups of men do not think like that. That dusty logic that they're sitting up feeding you, that's only them. And unfortunately, it would take another group of men to say, no, we don't look at the community and think that the problem is Black women. We look at it and think that the problem is Black men, because you are men. So he's telling you, as a man, you're supposed to be running and leading your community. That's why I'm doing it, because Black women need to see that this is not normal. Somebody, hello. No, seriously, I was watching some interviews, I promise you, on Married at First Sight. It was some back episodes, and every single Black man that went on air enforced submission, and none of the white men said anything about submission.
So you know that this is going to garner 11 more days.
Oh, they can cry. That's fine. They can. They want to. Yeah, they can go ahead and cry. It's not about them. And see, if they're crying because it's not, they think it's about them, and it's not about them. And I told them all they can do is stop spreading their dusty logic. Stop spreading your dusty logic. Stop talking about single mothers. And you know, one thing that I found interesting about what he said is they don't need to shame her, because at the end of the day, once the baby's born, you got to deal with the baby. You got to deal with the kids. They're already there. So why are you telling her about choosing better and all this stuff that's irrelevant when the kids are already there? And nobody's saying that they're perfect. It's not about praising or worshiping or uplifting them. It's about the fact that there is a difference in mentality. Your mentality is what drives your behavior. So if black men are getting the outcome that they're getting, it is because their mentality is trash and it's leading to trash behavior. It's just that simple. Yeah, Nyla, you know they about to do a panel and say Nyla and Sanji was sitting up there praising a white man and call us bad.
Another scripted call, another script. But like seriously, like if they don't want to hear it from black women, they don't want to hear it from other black men, they don't agree with them. Maybe they do need that lesson from other groups because maybe they can't see themselves. Like it's highly embarrassing and problematic. And you know, and it is true that they do seek their success and their self-esteem off the backs of individual black men. And they shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, and he's even telling you the only way he would be afraid of black men is if he was outnumbered by him. But he wouldn't fear you any more than he would fear anybody else walking down the street. He would see you as a regular man. Why do y'all keep running around talking about people are intimidated by you? Like, how many white men have to come on here and say that they're not afraid of you and that you're not a threat to them? And I think it's very interesting that they keep saying you're not a threat economically. So therefore, he said, didn't this man say they're not even, it's not even the threat that they might do something economically? That's very telling.
Yeah, and that's what got me called a bed wench, because I said that on that stream of that one Dusty that said he's going to form the militia. I said that you're not a threat to anybody economically, like, you know what I'm saying? But they said I was lying and said I was a bed wench for saying that. So telling the truth makes you white supremacist and, you know, makes you a bed wench.
Yeah, and so far, and this is what they're probably going to say. They're going to say Brian and that man knew each other, and that's why they have the same mentality. Because I notice how they say, you know, whenever I ask about a threat, before he even, like this dude didn't even mention physically, so I guess physically wasn't even a possibility. He said economically and intellectually, you're not a threat to them. That should mean something to black men. It's going to mean delusion because they're just going to say, well, no, that's not true. He's lying. That's what they're going to do. I'm sorry, I'm putting some nasal spray in. And it's like, okay, well, he already said you're not a threat to him. And you running around talking about hair and makeup and feminine cosmetics, that's not making them, like, that's not doing anything. You're the only person running around talking about women are masculine because of their degrees. Like, it's just, y'all are weird.
And then just think about how, like, they uplift Tyreek as like one second, baby. How they like uplift like Tyreek, right? And you know, that's their scholar. Just think about how they look globally. Tyreek is putting out documentaries and he's supposed to be looking like he's actually building and scholarly, but then he comes back and follows up with the video about your hair. Can't They see like how they're a joke, man? They're a joke to all men. Like, that's like that makes them look stupid and lame. Like, you're not going to be threatened by men who are afraid of weave.
And the fact that man said what I've been telling black women all along, the reason why white men don't go up there and publicly shame white women is because of what that white man said. Because to do that, we would be doing that to ourselves. That is what he said. If we do that, if we talk about her, then we're talking about ourselves. Yet black men sit on here all day, every day, thinking they're calling women German shepherds. If a black woman is a German shepherd, guess what? So are you. Because she gave birth to you. But they speak as if they're separate from black women, and people only see you as being like nobody does that. This man just automatically said out his mouth, we're not doing that, because if we do that, then we're talking about ourselves. And black men are not smart enough to realize that when you publicly demean black women, you are publicly demeaning yourself. These are some of the reasons why and I should have asked him, why isn't he threatened by black men? That's what I should ask him. Why aren't white men threatened by black men? I'm sure there's a laundry list of reasons. I'm sure we already know the answer. I mean, but the thing is, y'all ain't doing nothing to strike fear in them. You're not. You're not doing anything to make anybody afraid of you. Running around calling women masculine, it just makes you look silly. That's all it does. But I mean, what black men will continue, so then I'll have to continue. And look, Nyla, look, I'm telling you, if they cry for 11 more days, I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm not even gonna talk about them having a meltdown.
I think it's funny though. Like I'm looking forward I might have to make it like it's just hilarious. I mean, let them cry.
Let them cry. Because I'll probably split this one up and premiere it one of these days, but you know, they're gonna keep crying because they don't realize this content is not for them, it's for black women. And black women are just gonna have to understand that other male groups, they have an opinion on black men, and they're not gonna not say their opinion on black men just because you think that they shouldn't be able to. It just is what it is. Bottom line is Brian have spoken and now Brad has spoken too. But thank you guys so much. I'm going to get off of here because I got to edit some content. And so I will see you guys later. Nyla, are you going live at all?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit later on. Obviously, when I get the grandkids settled down and quiet.
Yeah, because I'll be watching that. But yeah, all right. Well, I'll see y'all later.